We're live.
We're live. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to
Yep.
the Divine Council podcast. This is episode 58, and this is your boy Monquay.
And this is Stefan.
And apologize already, because my phone hotspot, my quality is kind of off, so we just got to deal with with the picture quality on my end for right now, and I'll try to figure something out before the next podcast or stream. Um, yeah, so shit, it's been a minute. We just kind of had to work on some technical difficulties before we jumped into it, but we could jump right into it. Jump right into the information. Like once again, it's hard to even start off. We started off to where we need to go, man. It just seems like it's so much information, so much. And I think on my end, I might have to start at least having a script or something, and not in the sense of like writing out exactly what I want to say, but at least like points, man, because it's just so much information that I'll just see throughout the week. That
Yeah.
we can speak on. The times that we in.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but I hope everything has been well. I hope everybody's enjoyed the time that we've had through these hard times. I guess during this holiday season. I hope everybody's been safe and everything. You know, Kind of to recap since the last stream for me, just trying to get my energy balanced out right, and I guess take it to another level. We've been working on a lot with the podcast and everything. The theme of everything for me is I want to take everything that I'm working on and that we're working on to the next level. That's just the time that we got to do. We got to keep taking stuff to the next level. So just been busy, just with the same old working, researching. I've been doing just the research has just stepped up a whole nother notch. Um, and yeah, I don't really, that's just how it's been. How's everything been for you, Stefan?
Y- for me, it's just been just working and just looking into just more investing and working on more outside of my day job. Is just working on like more music. I've been more active with that recently, so I've I have like a plan of how I'm about to start releasing music, on a weekly basis and to build up momentum. And then sometime next year I'm gonna drop a full project and just go from there with that. And you know, just thinking about what's next in terms of with the business that we're starting and ideas with that and just thinking about that there's a lot that's on the horizon with 2021 right around the corner. And like you said, it's good to see people. I feel like people are getting into a better mood now than throughout the year, since this year is almost over officially, and that's great to see. But you just got to think, how much has happened this year. It's just been crazy to think, with all the, not just with the global pandemic, with the amount of deaths that we've seen from other things, other events that have happened, just oddball events. Man, we might need to do like a year in review episode or something. Just go over like stuff that happened every month. Just major stuff, maybe stuff we missed throughout the year, because there was so much that happened in this one year, man. And it's still not over yet officially. Um, Still got like a little under 2 weeks to go, and I'm just getting ready. Let me oh damn, that picture's small. Let me go ahead and see if I can put that up. So yeah, we got a little under a couple weeks to go, and it feels like there's still so much more left. Through this month of December, there's so much that happens, not with just like the holiday season. but just like everything in terms of people just wrapping up work and stuff, and just trying to get everything settled, get their mind right for what's to come with the January 2021 right around the horizon. But I do know one thing though. I have been talking about it, sending cryptic messages about it. I do know one thing, and that is I am getting ready on December 21st to gain my powers and take over the fucking world. Yeah, I've
I
been,
do. I see the picture. I do.
I've been thinking about, this is for people that don't know, I'm showing an image of Up and Away. It's a movie from Disney Channel that I watched when I was a kid, and it's about this black family that has superpowers. And yeah, people have been talking about it just all over social media about December 21st, and talking about, what is it, we're about to get, black people are about to get their powers and stuff. And I just been seeing the memes and stuff, and I've been seeing like people have been talking, making all types of jokes. I remember I seen one, I might post it on December 21st, where it's somebody said they got a text from the Avengers, and it said, it said, "Nigga, do you want to be an Avenger?" With a question mark. I seen the one. I seen the one with Umar. They've been making memes with Umar. And he's got like the Infinity Gauntlet that Thanos had with all the stones. I seen one. It was like when half breeds when half breeds twin December 21st comes and half breeds don't understand why they not getting all their powers. I seen one with Sean King. What's his name? Sean King. And it was like when Sean is December 21st and Sean King's trying to fit in, and it's like a cartoon just rolling around in paint or some shit.
Wow.
And a lot of people. I mean, I know there's a lot of jokes behind it and stuff, and I don't think a lot of people know what is actually happening on that day, that caused these jokes, to go all over the place. But it's from what I've seen, I'm pretty sure you've mentioned it before at some point, is about the planets aligning the first time in like what years, hundreds of years.
hmm Yeah. Well, it's an alignment. It's a Jupiter Saturn conjunction. I believe it actually happens every 20 years. But I believe with this Jupiter Saturn conjunction, with the houses or with the constellation that these two planets are in, this specific one hasn't happened in at least, I think they said 800. Well, it hasn't happened in 400 years, but the one where we can act like where we can actually see it in the sky, like where we're gonna be able to see it, that hadn't happened since it's no recorded history on it, because they said the last time this same alignment where we would be able to visualize it was over 800 years ago. Um, but what I mean by the 400-year one is actually important because that was what we call the Carrington event that happened in the 1850s. Um, and I want to see if I can share my screen. This Carrington event, and then let me know if I'm doing it right. I'll
All
just
right,
pull
yeah,
up the
okay,
it's RTLS5, and then
yeah, you got it, you got it.
okay,
It's about to pop up. Um, it's just a white screen at the moment. Yeah, nothing's showing.
this is what happened the last. This is what happened the last. This is the last conjunction. It's a little bit. I don't know if I don't know what's going on with my connection tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, it's not showing it.
Connect. All right. Let's see if I get it to pop up. All right. Let's go there. All right. I'm gonna let it like kind of. Let's see. Is it still tripping?
Uh, Let me go back to it. Yeah, it's just still not showing anything.
What the fuck? My connection tripping, man.
I mean, if you want, I can look it up real quick.
I don't know what the hell going on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It like lagged out or something, man. My shit been tripping all week. Um, I got the article up. I just was gonna do a little Wikipedia article that kind of just talked about it.
Yeah.
Um, is it lagging and stuff now?
Yeah, it's like a probably like a 5 second delay.
All right, I'm gonna pause it for a second. Just give me a second.
All right. All right. Coming back.
Is that better, man? Like I don't know. I had to.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, yeah. You're better now. Your image is clear.
Okay, so what I had to do is I had like a 1G or 2G signal. So the trick, anytime your signal fall, I always taught the trick. You put your phone on airplane mode and you take it right back off of airplane mode. When you take it off of airplane mode, it'll reach for the best signal. So it just like basically reset my signal. So
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, you're good now.
good. But you were speaking on you were speaking on this conjunction that was coming up, and I was just wanting to break down what happened on the last big conjunction that we're about to see with the Jupiter Saturn conjunction. I
Yeah.
gotta show this because previous podcast you spoke on the
Right.
grid going down, and this they've been talking about the solar flare. I've been having connection issues all week because they've been talking about all these solar flares and stuff. Solar flares, really popping off. And that's the difference with this conjunction is that we have what we call a grand solar minimum, which basically means that the sun's activity is decreasing when it comes to the sunspots. So the sun, you might hear some people say the sun is dying. Actually, it's actually getting weaker. But what that does when you have a grand solar minimum, when you go from the sun having all these sunspots for so many years and shooting out all these solar flares, it affects the magnetism of the Earth. And it just affects how the Earth is as a being, basically.
Yeah.
Um, but when a grand solar minimum happens, that means that the magnetism is going to affect the magnetism because it's going to be less activity. So really, what's about to happen is we're about to go into a goddamn ice age. And I'm going to show a video where Trump would Donald Trump was actually it was like a press conference or something, and it was somebody from one of the environmental agency groups. He was giving a lecture on global warming and what they needed to do and what they needed to look for. And the only thing Trump responded to him was, "It's going to get colder." So basically, what we're in the stages of before Atlantis fell. Basically, the ice age is kind of was around that same time or whatever. So what we're experiencing is basically it's a reset, and it's got a lot to do with this Carrington event and the grand solar minimum. So all that stuff astrologically that's going on, it's gonna. I mean, I still think with what you said before about the grid going down, and with specifically the solar flares going on and stuff like that, and this conjunction having some type of connection with it. We're about to see a lot of these damn. We're about to get some powerful solar flares. And what the Carrington event was happened in 1857, or I think it was 1857. I got the article pulled up. It's already loaded and everything, so I'll show you in a second. But it basically was the last time that we actually got hit. The Earth actually got hit by a strong solar flare. We don't really even get hit by strong solar flares where it knocks the grid out. The last one I think almost hit in like 2016 or something like that, but it barely missed the Earth. This one is prophesized to actually hit the Earth, and that's when I'm connecting it with the grid going down and with Public Enemy, like you said before, that put the album out. What you gonna do with when the grid goes down? I believe.
Yeah.
And you've been having all these people had these subliminal messages. Busta Rhymes had dropped his album. What was it?
Extinction level to something. Yeah. Yeah.
Extinction level event 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that's actually that shit is fire. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm just trying to make a point. I think this may be what is about to happen. I'm not trying to fearmonger or nothing, but I'm going to share my screen again and try to get this to see if it'll pop off right. Share, and this is the Wikipedia page of the Carrington event. Its name, of course, European will or wherever this motherfucker from, they're gonna name it after himself, like he created the shit. But it's called the Carrington event because this astronomer basically saw this geomagnetic storm, and what it showed was a coronal mass ejection that actually hit us, and
It's
that
it's still just showing like a white. Well, it's still showing. It's still not showing anything.
okay. What the fuck? Let me see. Let me make sure you're in the show. StreamYard is sharing a window. Stop sharing. How about now? Is it just showing my face?
No, it's just it's showing that you have the shared screen on, but it's just not showing anything on that shared screen.
Okay, what I gotta do next?
Usually when I do that, I use a different tab and I put it to the side, and that's the tab that I share the
Oh,
screen. Yeah.
okay, okay.
So
All right, let
yeah,
me go
on the
back.
on the left side you'll still see our stream. On the right side you'll see the screen that you're sharing.
I'm still getting accustomed.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Perfect,
Yeah,
perfect, perfect.
there we go. Got it.
Okay, all right. So this is what I was speaking on the Carrington event, named after the astronomer who saw this. It was in 1855, or this specific one that happened September 1st, 1859, and it's basically a coronal mass ejection, which is like a extreme solar flare. But this is the largest one that was recorded, and this actually hit the Earth. And but the difference is now we got nothing. We're a technological society, so if something like this was to hit the Earth, it's going to get crazy. And it's prophesied, well, not prophesied, but they're saying that this solar flare, that CME that may be ejected, around the time this conjunction happens earlier in the week, this week coming up, is actually going to be a lot stronger than the Carrington event. So I think we have our connection with the event that's really gonna, fuck a lot of shit up. Is we may have a Carrington flare type event that we've never seen before that may lead to some type of to like some extensive blackouts or something like that. That really might, we probably ain't seen nothing yet. That's what I'm really feeling. Um, 2012 was the last time it happened, but it just barely missed the Earth by like, yeah, it's at 9 days. But this one, we're supposed to get hit this time. And we're having. I noticed, son. It's been a lot of disruption with like connections and stuff, man. Like I know it's been going on for the last little bit of minutes, months. But I just wanted to speak on this Carrington event related to this conjunction. And let me see if I can pull up a picture. They say, I'm just gonna just pull up what it looks like, or what they're saying it's gonna look like. It's supposed to look like two stars, like a binary star. And then I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna get your thoughts on this. I just want to pull up an image. So basically, if you've been kind of looking at the sky, Saturn and Jupiter. Saturn is the dimmer one. Jupiter is the brighter one. They've been moving closer and closer together in the sky. And by I think they said the peak is going to be the 21st. They're going to be so close that it's going to look like two stars in the sky. And this the last one they weren't able to see, but they were able to see the solar flares. It's going to look something like this because I believe it's also going to be a solar eclipse around at the end of the month, I believe. Uh, so yeah, this it's going to look something that it's going to like something we've never seen before. Um, I just wanted to bring that up because that's what I've been thinking about, man. I don't know. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about this conjunction and what's really going on with this?
I think that I think that it is important that this event is going to take place because since we're in the midst of a financial reset, a global financial reset, then there's something that needs to happen in order for the process of mass adoption to increase rapidly. And something like knocking the grid off, where people have all their money in banks, you know, and credit unions and stuff like that, and not being able to access none of that when this happens, will have people wanting to look more into um, the crypto universe with how you can have digital assets. Well, they're classifying it as a digital asset class right now for the most part, um, where you can have this digital asset but not have it in like a bank or anything. You can have it like on a custodial wallet, which is a wallet like on an exchange like Coinbase or Binance, a non-custodial wallet like a Tron wallet, Atom wallet, or you can have it on hardware like a Ledger, and just have it around you like like a flash drive type of like a flash drive. So yeah, I think something like this will only help that case of the global financial reset. In terms of it doing stuff to us, like changing us and stuff, I think that's more of a mental thing more so than a physical uh thing that can happen. It's never, I mean, it's not out of the realm of question, like, that, well, it's not out of the realm of possibility that, yeah, there could be something, a physical change, but I think it's more so a mindset that will occur to people that are tuned in, to understanding what's going on. So yeah, a lot of people are making jokes and stuff, but um, there is a deeper meaning to all of this at the end of the day. And yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing the planets in the sky as stars, and uh, just seeing what happens moving forward. Because I mean, it's been a crazy year with so much stuff happening. So it isn't over just yet.
I agree. The one thing I did leave out, I kind of talked about it, then I didn't continue it. The biggest part about the conjunction that makes this different than the previous ones in our lifetimes is that this conjunction is going to happen in an air sign, and I'm gonna add more to what you were saying about the financial system. This conjunction happens in the air sign from Capricorn to Aquarius, I believe. Or Saturn is in Capricorn, which is the ruler. It's the ruler, and Jupiter is in Aquarius, I believe. I may be wrong about that. I'm not 100%. I'm still learning astrology, but I do know that the big difference is it's going from an Earth sign to an air sign when it comes to this conjunction. So we've been dealing with conjunctions in Earth signs: Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Earth signs. Um, but this was going to be in an air sign, and the air sign is rule. What does air rule? The technology, finances, just the airwaves, technology, internet. So what is Jupiter? What is Jupiter? The largest planet in our solar system. What does Jupiter represent on a spiritual level? Expansion. Saturn represents restrictions. So if they're coming together, basically you can look at it as Saturn is expanding, 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 expanding up into the restriction. I mean, Jupiter is expanding up into the so close to the restriction planet, which is Saturn, that we're kind of, in my opinion, what we're experiencing. Not only is this signifying the reset, nothing's out of the realm. Nothing. When I say nothing is out of the realm of possibility, just because of this alignment, not even coupled with the coronal mass ejections and the grand solar minimum, this alignment right here, when we look back, this alignment is going to be so important, man. Like this is the reset alignment, in my opinion, and it's got a lot to do with the expansion of Jupiter, basically trying to break through that restriction barrier by them planets coming together. Is how I'm looking at it. So I think this is showing this is the reset. This is when the table will come ahead in some type of way. Not easy. It's not going to be easy. But when people talk about superpowers, I find it interesting that we've been talking about this vaccine that they choose this year and right now, because they're pushing that shit hard right now. People are already getting that shit right now. A lot of people are getting that shit right now. But the technique that they use is the mRNA technique, a whole nother technique that they have never unveiled in the public before. Never done this type of technique when it comes to vaccinating the society. Don't we find that weird that they are using, not only are they using a new technique right now, why right now? One, but they're using something that's going to target your RNA, your DNA. I don't want to get into. I haven't done my research on if it's deadly or not. I won't. I'm not going to fuck with it just because it's a new technique. It's a whole. They never vaccinated us like this before. And it's vaccines. I don't fuck with vaccines. Um, I don't think anything's out the realm of possibility. And I think I think the vaccine proves that this conjunction and all that what's going on is going to affect our DNA in some type of way. I think it's activating something, but I think it's more activating, like you said, the mental aspect. Not it's going to be physical as well, but I think it is going to be more like the intelligent, like people's intelligence. You're going to get more enlightened.
I think like you said with the vaccines too, I think that's a good point to bring up with how they're using a new method, which I wasn't aware of that they were using a new method. I have seen people taking it like videos and like live TV, like I seen a doctor taking it, then I seen Mike Pence allegedly he took it on live on TV, and
I
there's
think
more
Fauci did it today. I think.
okay, I didn't see that one. Yeah, and they just announced the second one. Well, Trump just said that Moderna is available now. So they have Pfizer and they have Moderna, which Moderna they say has a 94.5% effective rate, which I think Pfizer is like 2 to 3% higher or something like that. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, for one, this vaccine it seems rushed to me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like they've given enough research. They haven't done enough trials on it, to see if it's something that mass population can take and there be little to no side effects, because there's already, if you go look, there's already people that have been affected in a negative way. I think there was like a video of like a nurse taking it and passing out from taking the vaccine. And I seen something online about one of the side effects of taking the vaccine and potentially having like your face being like screwed up. And
Bell's palsy.
yeah, yeah. So for me personally, I don't see myself taking the vaccine because I mean I haven't taken the vaccine since probably I was in high school, you know, and um, I just don't personally. I just feel like I haven't. I'm what I'm doing now with how I'm going and moving. You know, I feel like I'm on a good path in terms of like my immune system and stuff like that, and that doesn't make me. That doesn't say that I am, no pun intended, immune to getting the virus or anything like that. But I rather just take my chances with that because I feel like there hasn't been enough um research put into these vaccines.
Yeah, and it's odd to me. A lot of people are. First, I want to say this. What was refreshing is I had a discussion before with some peers, and it actually surprised me on the amount of people that's not going to get that's not wanting to do it. That's actually surprising to me. And in real life in society, when I'm walking around and I'm talking to people, I haven't heard of a single person that said they're going to willingly take it, which is odd. That's odd because the media is saying one thing, Facebook says one thing, but people really say another thing in public. People are really against this, like, and I'm talking about from all races. Like, it's not even like a racial thing, like, and it's all kinds of concerns. And the two biggest concerns that people had, um, the first concern was that it's rushed. That's not even getting no conspiracy because I do believe in a lot of the conspiracies, but the first thing is that it's rushed, and it's not the same type of regulate. It didn't go through the same process as it usually does. The second one, that's actually a big one for me, and I'm a man, is what about women who are pregnant or plan to get pregnant? I mean, come on, think about that, dude. Think about that, and that's what most of all the women. That's just what they were speaking on, is that the fact that they didn't want to take it just because they plan on getting married or getting pregnant, or they probably were already pregnant or something. And as a man, I'm looking at it as I agree with them because say I wanted to have, like, I mean, say that everybody does, a large majority of people gets this vaccine, and it comes out that it's sterilizing a lot of people. Don't you see how that can affect us as men? Like, that could definitely affect us, and that definitely affects them, the individual, which is crazy. It affects the individual, but that affects everybody. Just the woman's concern about that affects everybody, and I think that that's the for me when it comes to the actual damage that the vaccine can do. I think that is the number one concern. That should be the number one concern for on our number one or two. I think you should basically look at yourself first, of course. But I agree with them on that. Come on, how can you expect women to take this vaccine that's planning on to have a baby, dude? Like, that's a valid argument. You can't
Yeah,
debate that.
I mean, uh, I know. I don't know if you've seen where they were talking about trying to distribute it by race, the vaccine. And I'm thinking
Mm-mm.
to myself, I'm like, even with these people like Fauci and Pence taking it live on TV, I put money on it that they're not taking the same thing that they're going to give to the general public. Like I would put money on that for sure.
We're
Because
not the same being either.
yeah, and I mean, you do people not remember when this the pandemic had began for us, like really in the US around in March, and how they were kind of confused by how there wasn't as many melanated people getting the virus at first, and then all of a sudden there was a huge rise of cases in minorities that were getting it. And
And I can
now
I can that was consistent.
they're saying that minorities or black people have the highest rate of it right now. So they're trying to push it hard on the black community to take these vaccines by like Fauci getting on the news saying, it was created by a black woman and shit. And it's like, I don't give a fuck who it was created by. At the end of the day, she's another. I think she's just another pawn at the end of the day. So I get it. I get what they're trying to do because we don't know at the end of the day what they're truly putting into these vaccines. The actress that played Chadwick Boseman's sister in Black Panther, she got into some hot water like a week or two ago because she reposted this video where these guys on YouTube were discussing the vaccine and saying it had a, you might know what this is. It had something in it called luciferin or luciferus or something like that. It's a type
Mm-hmm.
of chemical, and they were saying like, why would they be putting this in this vaccine, and then having you break down the etymology with the lucifer in it, and then there was doctors and, well, quote unquote, supposed to be doctors in the comments saying that it's used for like plants or something. I forgot, but they were saying that it wasn't something evil or whatever. But I mean, I still just don't feel, personally, I just don't feel confident in the government. I mean, they're about to pass another stimulus bill and give us half of what they gave us the first go round. And you really think they give a fuck about us at the end of the day? Because, there's some people that think, taking the vaccine, nothing will happen. It'll do what it's supposed to do. And then there's a huge percentage like me that looks at it as, well, look what you've done to the black community over time with experiments and shit with syphilis and going back decades, and you want us to just be so open minded to just signing right up and being the first ones to take shit, and then it goes left. You know what I mean? Like, people are understanding that it's a new day and age, and it's like putting just using your brain. It's like, how could they have come up with something this fast to eradicate something that's been a major issue for over the course of a year almost, well, over the course of a year now. It just doesn't seem logical at this point for them to have something like that.
I wanted to add what you said too, about the woman that Fauci, and I got this from a guy I follow on YouTube called Ani Asaru. He does a lot of metaphysical videos. Um, and the lady that Fauci actually revered, that is supposedly created this vaccine, actually has a connection to the roots, and her nickname is actually Kizzy. And if you watch the movie called The Roots, Kizzy was a main character in that movie. So what is a what are they subliminally saying? They're still calling us slaves. They're still calling us slaves. And that's the mammy basically. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
all they are. They're not that they're all that's image, it's all for imagery. And this goes back to the conjunction. I think with the vaccine and with what I was saying earlier, agreeing with you saying that was consistent when they initially didn't have that many, wasn't that many minorities really. Initially, it was mostly older white people. And then yeah, now it's just straight. It was just straight minorities, Asians, all race, Asians, Hispanic, and African Americans. And now we can kind of see the narrative that they've been trying to create all year around this virus, and I think it still has to do with the astrology behind everything. Because I think what this is all signifying a reset. So what happens when it's a reset? This is when the Bible talks about the tail becomes the head, because the ones who are really going to benefit from this is us. But you can also look at it as, some say this is not this. This is it's a positive, but it's going to be a negative also. So we got to look at this perspective too, because really, what you got to understand is we're a lost tribe. So we've been put here to be persecuted, basically. So another perspective is that what's happening on 21st, yeah, we're going to get our power. Yeah, we're going to do something's going to happen supposedly, but it's going to be the start of Jacob's trouble. Like, it's going to be a start of some real shit. Like, because we're not even supposed to be in this realm. We're supposed to be out of this realm. We're not even supposed to be here. Really, the way we go to the next level is we die. So some are saying that all this is going to do is just accelerate the oppression that we've had to deal with. Because if you read the book, oppression shows you who the chosen is. Those who deal with ultimate oppression are from the seed of God. That's what makes us special. So it's not, even though you deal. I have a lot of hardships that I had to deal with in my life, and some days you start to ask, why me? But you got to understand that those hardships are placed on top of you to basically forge you, to build you, not for this realm, for the next realm. Because we got to die to get to that realm. So, that's another perspective that we can look at. That's another one that we can look at. And I do feel like they're ramping shit up, dude. I know I'm in my area back home. Two police officers have gotten killed. Three got killed this week. Three got killed this week in the 704. And it's all over the national news. And what I'm seeing from this is these are rituals for them to basically start gunning us down. And one of the guy, a white boy, had killed a police officer like earlier in the week, and then yesterday a black guy killed him. And who got killed during the altercation? The black guy got killed, and the other guy he killed a police officer. He's still living, and
They took they
he's
took him
in
they took him to Burger King.
basically. But what I was want to bring, because I was speaking with my mother right before we got on the phone. We were talking about it, and I was saying I want to actually bring this guy's picture up because I'm like, all this is based. I'm actually about to get ready for war, basically, because all it's subliminally doing is basically next time what it's doing is putting it in our heads is that if you believe it, is that we're a threat. And the black guy that got killed, he looked. How would a white man look at me and look at him and see it? They won't see no difference. The difference is I'm clean though, but they don't care about that. They're gonna see me and see him, so that's gonna put me at risk. So I'm also looking at it as we about to get a whole nother wave. We're about to get a whole nother level of oppression. And I've said it before in the past that it's gonna reach a point when their time runs out. They're not gonna hide anything. They're gonna be open about it. And that's the times that we in. So we don't need to necessarily always look at it as a positive in a way of we ain't gonna have to do nothing. No, it's a positive in a way of we can see the times that we're in, but these are about to be some deadly motherfucking. You talking about the purge? Because their time is over with. They can't handle these corona mass ejections for real. We know this. This is not even being racist or nothing like that. They can't handle corona mass ejections. They can't handle the sun for 15 minutes. So if the Earth is starting to spit out these solar flares, come on, G, come on. A CME hit the Earth. Who gonna survive that shit? Even if we might not even survive that shit, but we would be more equipped to survive it than anybody else. So all I'm thinking is going on is they trying to get us up the fuck out of here because we about to be running shit. Maybe because of it's an extinction level event on the horizon, and we may be the only ones that may be able to survive this shit. It don't matter what it is. It's all conspiracy. All we know is they are mobilizing to basically attack us and ramp this shit up on another level.
Yeah,
And
I mean, and it's so blatant with the number of gun shows that you see going around. Like I seen somebody post on Twitter, but stuff you see on Twitter, a lot of people Photoshop and stuff too. But it was supposedly if they pass this stimulus bill, which they're close to passing, a $900 trillion. I think it's $900 trillion. No, $900 billion stimulus bill. I think
9 trillion.
$900 trillion
Not
stimulus.
not 9 trillion.
Yeah,
I think
nine.
I saw. Yeah, I
Okay,
think I saw 9 trillion.
$9 trillion stimulus bill where they'll give everybody $600. There was a CNN article where they were saying like the prices of guns are averaging to be around $600 right about now. And
Mm.
so that just tells me that it's just time for me to just ramp up with like time for me to go out and get my firearm, get my body vest, you know,
RPG,
yeah, tactical
grenades.
knives and shit like that. Like that's something that I think is going to come in handy because I feel like before it gets better, it's going to get worse, and I feel like there is going to be more bloodshed, in this war that we are currently experiencing. Um, and just to go back to with how you were saying how who's going to survive if we get hit by like a CME, I was just thinking about Henrietta Lacks and her story and how this black woman, um she died, and I think it was from childbirth or something like that, or something related to that, or she was, I can't remember, she was sick or something like that, and in her DNA held the key to medicines that are still in practice today to treat cancer patients.
That's
So
why they
just
take so much blood when you go to the doctor office.
yeah, and so just think about that. And yeah, they like I'm O positive. So they always would tell me, you should give doubles and stuff like that because your blood type or whatever. when I was in high school and stuff like that. And once you do that shit, they will never stop calling you. Like they always find
Hmm.
a way to call you and shit, try to get more blood. And I ain't did that in years. But yeah, just think about that, man. Like, of course they want us to, they want us to be like the guinea pigs to take these vaccines and shit because they understand how powerful our DNA is in our systems. That if anything was to go wrong, we would be the ones that have the answers within our DNAs to to fix it. And I just wanted to say, um, before I guess we move on or maybe go to some or continue move on, I just wanted to ask you, what would you if December 21st came and we were to get powers, what would the power you want to have?
Hmm. Damn, that's a good question. I ain't even think about that. You know what? All I want to know is I want to how to I just want to know everything. That's what I would ask for. I would just want to have the knowledge of everything, the knowledge of the universe,
Mm,
because that way, think about it. If you got the knowledge of the universe, you can tap into how to create different technology. You can tap into damn near everything else. So I wouldn't necessarily have it. I wouldn't have. It wouldn't be physical. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be any physical powers. It would be mental. It'd be all mental. It'd be. I want to have the knowledge of understanding everything in the universe. That way, if I wanted to create zero gravity technology, I could do it because I have the answers to everything. If I wanted to create a weapon to eliminate somebody, I could do it. I would have want something like that. I would want something like that. I wouldn't want no like. I don't think I would necessarily want any physical powers. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, I truly feel like it. The one who knows everything trumps all. Period. Like,
yeah, we as we know, knowledge is power, and that the thing that scares the dominant society more than just the color of our skins is uh somebody with knowledge, one of us with that just has knowledge. That's a very powerful thing. And with that, again, I was just thinking of like with who was it, Thanos? I think he was talking to Tony Stark in Avengers Infinity War. He was talking to Tony. He's like, you're not the only one that's cursed with knowledge. Like,
mm,
I was thinking to myself, like, I feel like I'm cursed with knowledge because I said that in a song I did recently. I said I'm cursed with wisdom because I feel like it's like you get to the point you know so much that it's overwhelming at times, and things that you go through in life, it just does not seem to it doesn't it doesn't hit you the way you think it would, like to people that aren't as involved in knowing about the world and around them. Since you go so far into this and learning more about the world in itself, it's like everything around you becomes obsolete, and it doesn't matter anymore. And that's why I feel like at times I'm cursed with knowledge, because it's like certain things just I don't care about, that I feel like I should care about, but I don't, you know. So yeah, I mean, that I think that power would be incredible, but at the same time, it's like I feel like there would be times where you might be super depressed because you know so much, and it's like,
mm-hmm.
damn, I don't even know. I mean, they don't even understand what's about to happen. It's like you try to tell people, but they don't understand you. Like, think about somebody like a Stephen Hawking or something like that. Like, I don't think most of the people understood what he was saying most of the time. It's like he talking code, you know. But for me, I've thought about it. I was thinking about it yesterday, and there's this show that's about to come out from Marvel with and it deals with it to an extent. My power, I would want to be able to warp reality. So that
Mm,
means I would want to be able to change everything, the environment, everything around me, just at the blink of an eye, just like a snap. I just would want to be able to just like manifest shit and change it into how I see it in my mind.
it's powerful.
Yeah, I think that would be super cool because you'd be able to, make any type of, the world that you would want to see. You
Yeah.
know, um, But I mean, that's just something I was thinking about because a lot of people I feel like would say stuff like super strength, being able to run fast and shit like that. But I was just like,
It's all mental, dude.
yeah, nah. For me, I want to take it to the next level. Like always, you look in the comics, the people at the highest peak that are super OP, they have the ability to warp reality. That's
Like
something.
metaphysical powers.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. Damn man, it was something I wanted to add on that. It slipped my damn mind, dude. Slipped my mind. What you were saying about the knowledge, about kind of like it's not that I'm not any better than anybody, but I feel like I do have a more of a, I feel like we have a deeper understanding about certain topics, and we don't necessarily look at my life isn't run by the material. I love the material. I'm a tourist, so I love things, but I know things are bullshit. Like that shit ain't gonna get me to where I want to get. So I appreciate materials, but that's not what my life is about. But you can already like you already even with us having a podcast and having different viewpoints of other people, I know for me personally it already kind of isolates you. And some days I'm just like, damn man, like some days I can't even it's hard for me to even have conversations with people a lot of the time, because I'm already like I'm already looking at shit up there, and these people are worried about masks and shit. Like we passed that. We passed
That's
that,
how I
dude.
be with people like friends, family. Sometimes they talk about certain things, and it's just like I be about to get angry inside because I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, why the fuck are you thinking about this shit? Like you don't even understand. Like this is these niggas are pawns. Like I mean, there's such it's a higher level to all this shit, bro. And then when you try to explain it to them, it's just they just look at you like you crazy for the most part.
That is the mind control. It's like they giving you a narrative that you are believing, that you just believe in, and you listen to, and but I think for myself, like I'm past it. I'll speak on that, but I like to speak on deeper shit, like above that. Like, why is everybody focused on this? Why is this their method? Like, I like to take it another layer forward, not just speak on what we are presented, because I understand somebody like social media and technology. We're experiencing the negative aspect of what that can do to us. I mean, these algorithms are beastly. These algorithms are beastly, and they're using these algorithms to attack us. And literally, it makes you. It basically makes you think a certain way. They control how you think. Basically, you can sit there and look at that fucking ad, Chick-fil-A ad, come up. What you gonna probably do? Get some Chick-fil-A, probably not that day, but you might get it that week though, because your subconscious is gonna remember it. But that's all the algorithms right there. But you already, certain people already kind of feel isolated from society as it is. But
Yeah, I think about that movie, The Joker, that came out last year. I think it's a masterpiece because I feel like it really encapsulates a person that is a recluse in today's society that might have mental health issues, but feels abandoned by society as a whole because of how our healthcare system is and how people look down on people that are going through things mentally, and I just think it's important to always be able to like have an open mind to different people's situations and thought processes and not just ridicule them because they're not thinking the way you think or thinking what the mainstream thinks. You should be able to you should be able to be receptive to what they're saying and not just pass it off as just nonsense, or hearsay. I think it's important to just keep doing that. And like you were saying with like the algorithms, that brings back to the point what I was saying before we started recording is today I watched the documentary, which I predicted they were going to do this, and they probably still are going to do a movie. Uh, 6ix9ine, the saga of Danny Hernandez. It's like an hour and 40 some minutes long. I just watched it because I was like doing something for work, and I just wanted something on in the background, and it was actually pretty insightful. I mean, most of the stuff I know about him because I mean, I lived it to see through social media and stuff how he's come up. And it's just, the typical story of somebody that he comes from a broken family. His dad wasn't there. You know, he had a stepdad. His stepdad was killed. That changed his life. He was pretty much a good kid for the most part up until that moment. Then he had you know, his girlfriend. He had a kid as a teenager. He started hanging with these dudes and recording, making just videos and I think skits, and then he started doing music, and then at one point he took it too far because you know he became obsessed with clout, with attention, and didn't care about nobody else except just more clout, and he got caught up in a sexual act with a underage girl where they said he didn't do it. He was just there, you know. He got caught up with that. So then when he got out of jail, he took the plea deal. He said, you know, I can't do no more sexual videos, you know, where he was like fucking pedigreeing girls on the bed and shit. And I'm talking about 6ix9ine. So he aligned himself with some Bloods, and then he became gang affiliated, and then he became pretty much the leader of this organization. And then it got worse where he started making threats on people and getting people shot at, getting people robbed, beat, and his driver was a immigrant, and ICE paid him a visit, and the FBI
Mm.
was doing an investigation on 6ix9ine's Treyway, the non-Trey gang, non-Trey Bloods, and he cooperated. So his driver was the mole of the crew, and you know, it talks about, you know, how we know now that 6ix9ine is free, and you know he's not relevant no more, at least at the moment. And it's like all these people were saying how, you know, they were going to do stuff to him when he got out and nothing happened, you know, untouchable for the most part because he's still connected with the FBI. But what my bigger thing was, why I was mentioning this is because the driver said the person doing the documentary asked the driver, he was like, so did they ever put a wire on you when you were, you know, around him? He's like, no, they just had an app. They just literally had an app where they hear everything on the phone.
Mm.
And it just makes me think. It's just like what we already know. Like what you were saying with smart TVs, it's like even with your phone being cut off and stuff, they can still hear what you're saying because it's all in the technology that's embedded in these chips in these phones. And some people are so hype about what's next, you know, for 5G with the increased speeds and stuff, not realizing that it's just going to make it that much easier for you to be tracked moving forward.
I want to add to this, dude, because I had this conspiracy that I thought in my head. And you ain't gonna hear this from no. This is the first time you're gonna hear this shit. And I think I figured out why a lot of our shit comes from overseas and what they may have planned down the line. I thought about this. I was like, you know, a lot of our stuff comes from overseas, from China, Japan, stuff like that. And they have they have AI technology, algorithms and stuff. They can, you know, record conversations, listen to everything. But this is what I was thinking. This is what I was thinking. Why? Why are they doing that? Why? Why are they collecting all this information on us? Why? And I think I figured it out. And this is the conspiracy aspect from it. I was thinking, I was like, well, what if they're just cloning? Like, what if they clone? Like, what if they're just cloning everybody? They're just cloning everybody. And when this shit pop off, when they're ready to really fuck with us, they're gonna unleash clones like us. That's basically packed with this AI database server with these motherfucking robots that have knowledge of everything that they're collecting from us on these servers. They're gonna put into these robots basically, and put in AI basically. And I'm thinking that's why I think they're collecting all this shit, dude. They're collecting all our information just so it's because it's knowledge. It's knowledge of how we move, how we operate, like what we like, shit like that. And I'm thinking not only are they doing this to basically know, to basically predict how we think, like what we do and shit. But I was thinking, well, maybe they're working on technology, robots or some type of technology where they already have the knowledge of. everybody, like everything around the world in a server, all conversations that they've recorded, numbers, did like everything. And I, what if they can synthesize that into some type of AI, into a chip that they can then put into a robot, and that can be like our police, or that's the new military type shit. Think about how hard. Think about how crazy that would be, dude.
I mean, they put the subliminals in the movies. I mean, I always go back to Our Robot is one of the major ones. I mean, look at the Matrix as well. You know, which that's something I've been thinking about rewatching recently. Matrix trilogy that was actually created by a black woman too. Um, Also, I was gonna say the movie Us, Jordan Peele's latest movie Us. It details pretty much how there's clones of everybody, where they call them tethers, the tethered,
Mm,
and the main character who's played by Lupita Nyong'o, Nyong'o, I think that's how you say it. Her main character, her tethered has a family. Of her family is the clone. There's a clone family of her actual family, and they come to meet each other in the movie, and they have this battle pretty much to
mm,
live. But there's a twist at the end where Lupita, her character, when she was younger, she would go to the like the fair, like it's like in like think of like New York, Long Island, where they have like those the Ferris wheel, like the by the beach and shit. They would go there with her family, and she went into like one of those mirror places one time, and she met her tether there. And the twist is the tethers live underneath in like this place, like down underneath in this underground facility. It's all these tethers. They got classrooms, bedroom, like beds where they live at, and they just live. They don't know how to talk. They just walk around and shit, and like zombies pretty much. Her tether got out one day, and she met her face to face in the mirror. Her tether dragged her into where the other tethers were and left her there. Come to find out, Lupita's character was the tether the entire time. She was the tether that got out and grew up. That's why her clone. Well, it wasn't the clone. That was the original one. That's why when they met, she could kind of talk a little bit because she was the original that had been replaced by the tether.
mm.
So yeah,
That I still haven't seen it. I might check it out tonight because
I just got chills thinking about that again. But I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was as good as Get Out, but I think it's still worth a watch
that's
because Jordan Peele, it's the themes he puts into the movies, you know. So
yeah, yeah. Us as a group. Like I mean, that's like got so many different meanings. But the cloning shit, man. I don't know. We definitely know the clone. They've been doing this shit. I think they've been cloning since the 50s. I think that's some shit that they figured out when they were fucking with Hitler. I think they've been cloning since the 50s, dude. And by now, they just got it to a level where it's just like it's unfathomable. Like they got it to a level to where you could be going out here on a daily basis, and this is what they call NPCs. They've just created people, basically. Is what I'm thinking. And this is why I think this is where the disconnect comes. This is where the disconnect comes from people that think a certain way and people that don't think a certain way. I think a lot of people like NPCs. You heard this before. They can't. They control. They can't think outside of the realm of what we've been told and what they want you to believe in. It's because they don't have that aspect. They don't have that gene. I truly think.
speaking of which, there's a game. I mean, not a game. There's a movie coming out next year called Free Guy, and it's about a video game character. He's an NPC, a non-playable character that pretty much becomes conscious.
Wow.
Yeah, it comes out next year. So yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that. Yeah, like I think what really separates us though, I think you have a chosen family. It ain't about race. When I'm talking about this, you have a chosen star group, star tribe is what they call it, a family, and that whole family has a gene, which I call it the intelligence gene. It's some type of gene that we all have that just makes our brains think differently. Period. And it's because we're from the same family. we're going through different realities, trying to basically fix these realities. We're the Avengers, but we have a gene where we can see shit differently. Like we see, because we probably done been on so many different earths and civilizations. We know this is deeper than this.
shit, fucking X-Men.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people was talking about X-Men and the Avengers with this conjunction.
Yeah, I mean X-Men was based off of black people. I mean, you can look that up. It was based off the civil rights movement. So
And kind of back to what we were just a little bit on more what we were saying with that conjunction. Whatever comes from it, I think it's just going to be a gradual process after that. So if we do get any powers, anything, it ain't gonna be something that's just gonna be like next week. It's gonna be some shit that's gonna probably, it's gonna take some time.
it's gonna take some time to activate.
I think by 2030, I'm gonna say this right now. By 2030, we're not gonna even be able to really recognize the past 100 years, 200 years. I guess we're gonna be in another fucking realm. I really want to predict by then we have like hyperspace kingdoms. They call them hyperspace kingdoms. And this is where I do right now. I theorize where the 1% actually live. This is why we don't see them because they got us basically on a prison planet in a certain realm. But once again, we don't know what the Earth really is. But what I really think it is it's just a ever expanding infinite realm with ice rings and shit that basically you gotta get by to get to the next realm. And they say, outside of this one realm that we in, it's hyperspace kingdoms. This is where they take all the dead celebrities. This is where these people actually live. And what they're doing, starting with the cryptocurrency and with these digital IDs, is they're basically trying to bring this to this realm, basically. And that goes, and how I can prove that is the Akon city. That's all it is a hyperspace kingdom. They already got him. He's just trying to they're gonna create this shit and bring it to our realm, but they want to have control of it. They already have that. That's where these motherfuckers actually dwell. Like Epstein Island and shit. We don't even know if that's really, in the Atlantic. That could be out past Antarctica, some shit.
I
And
mean,
that's why
who knows? They could have figured out how to properly teleport through the Bermuda Triangle and learn how to actually come back from that.
yep.
You know, because that's just one place where there's that zone where people have gone missing. There's other places too. So just think of those as all not teleportation, but like black holes or wormholes that people go into and get transported into either another dimension or planet, another side of the world or something like that. You know,
You brought up a good idea that made me think. I want to bring this up too, because this is connected. So, what was the Iraq War actually fought over with Saddam Hussein? What were they attacking him for? Not just the opium,
they wanted the oil, right?
the ziggurat of Ur, the ziggurat of Ur. Y'all better get ready for this. It's a Stargate portal, basically. It's a ancient building. But they said within this building, it's basically a Stargate portal, and there's a piece within the building that looked literally like the Stargate portal off of Stargate SG-1. That's what they say. That one of the big reasons why they actually had to get rid of Saddam Hussein because he had ancient technology. All these people that they're knocking off have ancient technologies within the museums of their countries, and the technology that has powers that can literally that can change this reality. But the thing is, it's a race to decipher the technology. Like it's not decipherable yet. They're trying to decipher this technology. They will never be able to decipher it. It's not meant for them to decipher because that's our original technology. This is why we made it so complex because we knew that we were going to be going through this shit, and we knew we were going to be dealing with not just the Caucasian, but with these demons because it's not even it's deeper. It's about the blood, man. It's something in the blood of these people because it's black, white, Hispanic, all these motherfuckers that basically are in on this shit. Um, yeah. So it's wicked, dude.
I
It's
mean, I
wicked.
I literally have a conversation like the other day, well, like a week ago at the barbershop, and we had gotten to pretty much a deep conversation about like the vaccines and shit, and um I was like, man, well, we on another point, like and these some older cats, probably like 20, 30 years older than me. My barber, him, he gets it. Shouts out to Pitts. He teaches me things and stuff. Talks about a lot about Hebrew, which is something I do want to get invested into, and I do really want to learn Hebrew so I can start deciphering things myself. There was one of his customers. I was like, man, how do you think the queen's still alive? They fucking eating babies, bro. Like they're drinking the bloods of newborn babies. You know what adrenochrome is? Why do they choose babies? Because they aren't tampered with. Their blood is pure. Look at the fucking what's his name? Not the queen, but what Prince or what that old the dude she's married to? He
Is it
look,
Prince Andrew?
he looks extinct almost. Like he doesn't look like he's fucking human. Like how do you think he's still alive, bro? They're fucking drinking the bloods of newborn. That's a conspiracy. You can say that's a conspiracy theory, but that's something I believe in because think about how the amount of kids that go missing every year.
Mm-hmm.
I walk into Walmart and I see all of these faces of kids. Most of them are melanated. They go missing every year, and then you see these ones where they find people and they have missing organs.
Mm.
Think about that. And then I think about the late Dick Gregory. He was on the Breakfast Club some years back, and they were talking about organ harvesting or something. No, he was saying, yeah, I think he was talking about organ harvesting, and Charlemagne was like, "Well, how do you think we're gonna, save the world or what?" He's like, "What are you talking about? Hope it's over. Like we lost." And he's like, "There's already another planet where they take the people that they kidnap, they put them on another planet."
I believe it.
And they were just all looking at him like he was crazy, but I believe what he was saying as well. Because he's done seen some shit. Like, he was been in the industry a long many years. He was with back in the days with Malcolm, Martin, all that. He's seen many eras, and been a celebrity and stuff. So
He go, and these people leave without a trace. That's the sick shit. It's like all these people go missing, but they're gone without a trace though. And with all this technology, these motherfuckers can track what you did 5 years ago to the T, and they can't track these people. I'm glad you brought adrenochrome up because that actually added to what I was saying before about the bloodline, about shit being in the blood. And to speak on adrenochrome, they say adrenochrome is the most powerful drug known to man, and in fact, a part of it is it's a psychedelic. And what I think it did, the first person that drunk adrenochrome connected with Satan, and it basically it put it created a parasite within their blood that is highly contagious and it's addictive. So basically, the adrenochrome is basically allowed them to connect with Satan. This is why these motherfuckers are getting the knowledge of all this shit. Because what Satan is the prince of air, prince of information, everything basically. So if that's the case, this is why I think they get all the technology and why they're so bloodthirsty because the adrenochrome has created basically a motherfucking demon in the flesh. And this is why it ain't about race. It's still about bloodline. It's something to melanin, it's something to race, but it's not all about race. I think it's truly about bloodline. But I wanted to bring up that the ziggurat I wanted to bring up that page because it was something I was looking into the other day. I would want to show you a picture that I found. They supposedly actually found this old picture um that showed what it looked like. Ziggurat and I'll share the tab. They say this is what the war in Iraq was actually fought over. It's an ancient structure that had within it a star. There's actually a star fort that had an actual stargate within it. And who was the one that was starting to excavate it? Oh, let me share the screen. My bad.
and then we look at again like how we know 9/11 was a inside job. Um, they try to make the Saddam Hussein look like the bad person or Osama bin Laden. When you go back and look in our history, we were the U.S. was working with Saddam Hussein.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and look into it, so it makes sense, you know. Yeah, people were saying, you know, the war was over, really over oil, which I mean that makes sense too because the Middle East is rich with oil. But with what you're saying with this just adds another layer to it.
It does, dude.
And they
And
talked
what it
about recently with the aliens and how Trump knew about the intergalactic federation, but he was about to expose it. But I think he was shut down or something like that. I think it was an Israeli that leaked it or something and said something about it recently. Comments about, yeah, there's an intergalactic federation, but they said talking about how humans aren't ready to be a part of that yet. They're not evolved enough.
Oh man, I'm glad you brought Trump up because it's something that I found in the YouTube comments the other day. This motherfucker put an executive order out in 2018 about election fraud, G. And I'm gonna pull that shit up. I want you to read this shit because it said 45 days after the election, this executive order can be put in place. Man, there's some odd shit going on right now, and we got to get ready, dude. There's some odd shit going on right now. We'll talk more about that after I show you this picture of this Stargate. But what does it say? The ziggurat of Ur? It's a Neo-Sumerian from a Neo-Sumerian city. So this is Sumerian type technology. I want to see if I can find the actual Stargate. That motherfucker looked just like it looked just like the shit off of Stargate. It was within the ziggurat of Ur after they was starting to excavate it. Um, I wish I would have just screenshotted it and sent it to my email and download it on the computer or something. Let me see if I could do this. This wasn't it, but this is interesting too. This is like a Sumerian hieroglyph or something. But that's not the picture I'm looking for. Oh, right here. This is it. See if I can. This ain't the whole picture. It's like, but it's this picture. It's a bigger picture of this same picture, and you can see right there. That's the exact portal. It looks like the Stargate SU-1 portal. That's what they were. That's what they were looking for over there. That's what they got it here, but they don't know how to decipher it, or they may know how to decipher it by now, and that might be what they're talking about. Here it is, right here. This is what they found, dude.
Mm.
We gonna learn today, dude. This is what they found. This is what's within the ziggurat of Earth, within that structure that I had just showed. This is the Stargate. This is what's in Iraq. Um, yeah. So that's what I wanted. I wanted to share with that. With you guys.
Yeah, that's
Let me
interesting. I
see.
mean, with all of the news about aliens recently and how they you know the monolith, you saw that with the this where did that come from? Then all of a sudden I think it just disappeared or something like that or some
It's
other.
been moving around. It's been getting moved around, like
Yeah,
all across the world type shit.
yeah. So with that and now Space Force are calling themselves US Space Force is calling themselves Guardians. And then there's
Mm.
in Marvel there's a intergalactic crew called the Guardians of the Galaxy. So now they're calling themselves the Guardians for the US Space Force. So it's all coming together like I mean, what do you think those monoliths, what do you think those symbolize?
First, I'm gonna say, man, this shit might take about 3 hours, bro, because we got some information that we gotta give these people tonight, dude. So I don't know, man. We gotta strap in, dude, because okay, with the monolith, I'll say this. I don't think that there is I don't think that is extraterrestrial activity kind of doing research on it. But I will say this, I think we're gonna get visitation. We're gonna get visitation. But with the monolith, I think that that's what they're this is what the elite this is what they're doing. This is what the elites are doing. And I think that they're doing it to basically diminish what when they visit us, basically. Like they're doing this shit before we really get the extraterrestrial shit popping off, basically. So with the monolith, I don't think that there is extraterrestrial visitation because I think that we're going to get extraterrestrial visitation, but they're trying to create events to where either we won't necessarily pay attention enough. But when they come, we're not gonna have no choice but to pay attention because it's gonna be in a specific way. And the reason why I said we got information is because when you said what you just said, it made me think of this YouTube movie that I watched before that I came back across this morning. I watched a little bit of it, and it's called Cosmic Slop in 1990. It was made in 1994. Bruh, check this out. Check that shit out on YouTube when we get off. When we get off of this shit, dude. The movie is based on. Okay, so it starts off. I forgot the rest of the movie, but I remember I watched it before because I remember how crazy the movie started off. The way the Cosmic Slop movie starts off is, you know, they have they had got a beam or some shit from this extraterrestrial thing, or they were watching these extraterrestrials coming from outer space to the Earth, but they have been watching them for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And the day that they were supposed to, finally make a visitation, it was this big press conference on the beach or whatever. Everybody was out there getting ready to see the aliens and shit. And when he's speaking to shit, the aliens just pop up like out of nowhere, like these big ass ships just uncloak themselves basically. And the president is there. He's at the podium or whatever. And one of the leaders in one of the alien spacecrafts, he basically a hologram of a TV pops up in front of the president so he can communicate with the president. And everybody was like fucked up about all the shit they already seeing and shit. And when the hologram popped up, it showed the alien face, but he then cloaked himself to look like a white man. And what he was saying was, he was basically saying, we can give you a deal. We will give you 0 point technology. We will give you energy to clean your techniques to clean your atmosphere. We will give you gold, silver, yada yada yada, saying that they wanted to do a deal, and this is their part of the bargain. Guess what they wanted in exchange? They said we would give you all this in exchange for anybody who had over 25 nanograms of melanin within their system, and you got 3 days to decide. 1994, man, this shit was crazy, dude. That's what the exchange was. They would give white people all this technology, but they'd have to take everybody who had true melanin off the planet.
Well, I'll say that I think that's fascinating. Um, I'll take it a step further with a show that I watched that I talked about recently. I was telling you about Lovecraft Country and how you were saying there was one episode where they touch on um, time travel. Well, there's technically a couple episodes where they talk about time travel, but there's one in particular where Hippolyta is her name. She travels out time, and she understands that she is the universe, and with her mind she can go anywhere and be anything or anyone that she wants to be in the world. And there's this one scene where she interacts with some aliens,
Mm.
and this right here is what they look like. Let me pull this up so you can see it, because this thing, because it takes. All right, about to share the screen. Right there.
Wow.
Yep. That's what the alien looked like on the show. And maybe that's, well, hold on, let me, yeah, that's just another image. But yeah, you get the gist right there of how the alien looked. I'm thinking to myself, man, like, going back to what you said earlier with how we're not even supposed to be in this realm. Like, what if one of the reasons why we haven't seen aliens ourselves or been in contact with them is because the elites know it once we see it, they know that it'll be us. You see what I'm saying? It's like they they're afraid. You know, they know about the intergalactic federation or whatnot, and they're afraid to talk about it and stuff because they know once we have this contact with aliens, they do come and the public is aware. They come and they see it and they look like us. It's like, I mean, that's just gonna be the biggest mind fuck of all time. Is like, well, you know, it's like you know, because we in these movies we always see the aliens always look goofy for the well. Sometimes they look goofy and big heads and shit, and it's just like just weird bodies and green and big eyes and shit like that. But I'm thinking that's just some, you know, that's just some fantasy shit. Like I'm thinking they could just look exactly like us at the end of the day, and they understand. That goes back again to them knowing, like you said, with the fucking the aliens was like, yeah, we want people with melanin to come with us because we understand how powerful they are and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, well, if they just come and they see us and we look just like them, except they're not, you know, they're just so more advanced than we are. Um, be like a homecoming of sorts.
I mean, me personally, I don't know. It's a what a time to be alive. I love it. I mean, it's a good time to be alive at this point because I just feel like we in for a show. This ain't even the show. I think we in for a show. For real. I think we really in for a big show. Um, I do think it's gonna be some level of visitation, and this visitation. I think it has to happen at some point to help us go to that next level. I don't think we will be able to get to that next level with just human with what we have right now. Like this system has to collapse. But I think it's going to start with some type of visitation on some level where they will start to trade with us. Maybe, you know, this CME or something has to pop off and then they come visit. Like I do think it's going to be some level of visitation if it hasn't already been. I mean, I've been. We had a Neowise comment, and we see all kinds of shooting stars and had all this crazy shit pop off. Um, I think it's going to be some level of visitation. And we ain't really seen nothing yet. We ain't seen nothing yet. That Cosmic Slot movie, man, that should have me kind of fucked up.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go back and watch it all the way through again.
I'm thinking about it too. Again, like even with that, like with the Afrofuturism, like thinking about, you know, how they talk to immigrants like you're an illegal alien. Well, who's the alien? Because I'm thinking to
Mm.
myself, it's like sometimes I'm like, man, these motherfuckers are foreign. Like they probably not even from this world. Like, what if we are the aliens at the end of the day? They don't want to say it because it's like, you know, they afraid. You know, they understand the power that we possess. You know, um, I just there's so many possibilities with it. So many possibilities.
I wanted to speak on. I know we were talking about the Stargate and everything, and this kind of goes with it. We're speaking with the star about the Stargates, and you were saying how they figured out how to go over Bermuda. You know, figured out how to go through the time hole in Bermuda and everything. When you were speaking on that, I wanted to add. I wanted to bring in, you know, how we don't really know how they haven't really taught us what the map actually looks like. We don't really know what the map actually looks like. We don't really know like what this landmass is. And I've never been on a plane, but I've heard about how like people, you know, they can be on a plane and they have all these different layover places and stuff, and like how it might be quicker to get to one spot, but it might take to get this. Look at the map, it don't make sense. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I think is going on, and I think you know our airline situation can show that what they're really doing. One, the map ain't really. We don't have no clue what this shit really is. None. Like when we look at a map, that shit don't. I don't think it even look like that. It might be similar, but it don't look like that. And the reason why these flight paths are weird is because they're passing. They're trying to avoid stargates. And not only are they trying to avoid stargates, I found this map of Pangea. Get ready for this shit. I found this map of Pangea that was from a textbook in 1915. This motherfucker said that actually everything is still connected, and if it ain't connected, it's still like the space between these continents are still so small. It's still basically connected, dude.
That's something I thought about for a while. Like I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, are we really as far away as it seems? Because people would say, well, just you keep driving, east, and what are we gonna hit? We're gonna hit the Atlantic Ocean. But okay, we hit the Atlantic Ocean, but maybe it's not as far down. Like it doesn't take as far as we think to cross over to get to the UK. It
Right.
could be like fucking 4 or 5 hours on like a boat or some shit. Like or and people and it's just been taught for so long that everything is so separated when we are much closer than we seem. I mean, I think to myself sometimes, I'm like, bro, like we've already know that they've lied about the actual size of continents. So who's to say we are on the actual landmass that they say we are on? It could be flipped, it could be twisted around and shit. That's stuff that I've thought about for a while.
I want to add to that because I was reading a book, and it's interesting because I was reading a book that was called Native American. One second, let me grab it. I'm gonna grab it. I'm reading this book right here. African and Native Americans, the language of race and the evolution of red black peoples. Reason it's not really connected per se, but the reason why I brought it up is because in the beginning, I'm still at the very beginning, and it's African American contacts to 1500. But reason why I brought this up is because he outlines how they had documented how in Europe they had at different points in like the 16 and 1700s on Indians traveling, like it would be Indians traveling in canoes to England, to these European countries. It's documented. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so it's something off about that. It's something if Indians from the United States can travel to the UK in canoes, then it's something that we're not taught. It's something that's missing there. Either these motherfuckers had God level technology then, or it's not really that we're not that far away. And that's what I wanted to bring up because it talks about in this book how they had tales of in Spain and Portugal about how they had never seen an Indian before, and how one time an Indian that came over in a canoe, and right when he got there, he did die. When he got there,
I
he like
mean,
he got off the canoe and just died. But
wasn't
had
there?
numerous accounts.
Didn't they talk about how like the fucking Asians migrated over to like over here from like a bridge or some shit? Like they came from like Russia and migrated over onto the side of like where Alaska is.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a huge migration at one point or something like that. So that just makes me think it's like how close are we actually? And then there's always that joke, like in like cartoons, like in Looney Tunes, where they start digging underground, and then they wake up and they're in China, like where
Mm.
they dig in the ground, and then they get to the point to where they go into the ground, and then they come up and they're in China. So it's it's interesting, man. It's
It's
interesting to
odd
think.
times.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to see if I can find. I can't find it. I can't find it on. And I don't. I don't. I use DuckDuckGo on my phone on my laptop. But honestly, I think DuckDuckGo is worse than Google, man. Like I mean, I don't get the same results. At least on Google, I can get it closer to what I'm looking up. But this right here, I'm gonna see if I can show it on my phone because I can get it on my phone. But it was a researcher named Wegner in 1915. he shows basically how it looks, how it started to how it split up, but how this the picture in C is how it actually still how it is. It's still actually like this. But you will see that these continents are still a lot closer. See if I can.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
You can see A. The top one is when it's all together. The
Right.
middle one is when it starts to break apart, but the bottom one is actually more so what it looked like in 1915. But you can still see. It
It's
depends
still
on.
it's fairly close. Like
Yeah, it's still relatively pretty damn close. Like it ain't as wide as apart as they teach us. I think it's something to that, and I got that from I was exposed to that from Asir the Duke of Tears. He had put a I actually got the real picture on my phone. I got to go through the screenshots and stuff. But yeah, check him out too. Asir the Duke of Tears on
okay.
YouTube. Man, he dropped something right tonight. I'm gonna watch it right when we get off here. That shit is mind blowing information, dude. But yeah, that's what I wanted to add to that.
Yeah. It's just a lot, man. Well, going back to I mentioned it earlier, but what do you think about that the new stimulus bill and them only wanting to give us $600?
Um, I think what they're doing, I think really what the government is doing right now is they're laying, they're basically setting up their own grave. They're setting up their own grave. Um, because everybody knows that okay, it took y'all mother 8, 9 fucking months to give us half of what we got before. So what I'm looking at it like this. This is what goes back to what I'm saying. They're not hiding shit. They basically strong arming us. They telling you, fuck you. And when I woke up around 8 or whatever, when I got up, I got all these alerts. A lot of them, most of them pissed me off. One of the alerts I got was talking about how Congress, which supposedly they said they had 2.5 dozen meetings left. They're just going to be out. They're not going to do nothing. They're going on recess or some shit. I'm sitting up here thinking like I don't give a fuck if it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. This is goddamn 2020 with a pandemic, nigga. You gonna be missing the holidays this year if you're supposed to be here governing us. But it made me realize they're not here to help us, dude. This is the great awakening. This is what we're gonna understand. Like we already understand this, but everybody's gonna understand. The government has been here to fuck with us. They've been body trafficking us. They've been giving us drugs. They've been stealing from us through taxes. They've been surveying us. They've been putting us in war, putting our own brothers and sisters through wars that are funded to basically destroy other countries where they can get their like the government has never helped us. Period. And that is a part of this great awakening. And it's going to get to the point where we already are aware that they're fucking with us. You can't be serious. You can't be, but the Federal Reserve printed all this money all this time, and you know why the stock market and all cryptocurrency and gold, why that shit is all the way up like this, because the Federal Reserve has been printing trillions and billions of dollars just to buy stocks. Now they could have took a trillion or two of that and given it back to the people. Why did they give it back to the people? Because they don't give a fuck about it. So this goes back. This is the Great Awakening. Motherfuckers gonna realize, okay, we don't need government. We don't need government the way we look at government. We need a regular republic and something like and our constitution to be fulfilled and revamped, but that needs to be followed to a T though. We don't need all this extra bureaucracy, democracy shit. We don't need all that extra shit because what that has done is literally led to the attack on the people. Only thing the government is the modern day Roman Catholic Church, and this is the fall of it. So, how do I feel about the stimulus? I think it's horseshit, but I already knew it was going to be horseshit because what they're trying to do is basically they're trying to poke the beast. They're trying to poke the beast, basically poke the beast, poke the beast. Because there's a lot of people out here that are not scared of the government because we know the most powerful part of society is the people as a collective. Once 1,000 people come together with the like minds and resources, this shit is done, dude. This shit is done. So I mean, that's how I feel about that. Like I think it's horseshit, but what I realize is this is the fall of government.
It's like
So
they put
so what we're seeing is this is the beginning stages of what is going to lead to them to fall, to lead us to revolt, to basically overtake the government again. That's what this all this is.
I look at it too with like how you said like man like Yeah, of course they got all the, they're printing all this money. Of course they can fucking give us way more than what they're planning on giving us. And it's like when you see these all-time highs with Bitcoin over 23,000, I think the highest it got was like $23,777 or something like that. Bitcoin is going to be at one point. It's going to get to over $100,000. It's going to reach these levels at some point.
At
This
least.
Yeah, this is just the beginning, and there's going to be altcoins such as Ethereum that will be huge as well. And there's going to be other players too, you know. But I'm thinking to myself, it's like okay, they only give us 600. They're only going to give us $600. Then I keep seeing these huge corporations putting millions into to cryptocurrency because they understand, like we understand, the government. They know that the dollar is shit, and they
Mm-hmm.
know that everything is going digital. Why you think they gave those congressmen and congresswomen that money to go play around with in terms in crypto? Because they understand, yeah, they're going to be they think, well, we're going to be early adopters to this shit, really, because the space is still really new. um and it's like they're not putting people on. They're not letting that. And you look on the news, they don't really talk about crypto that much. It's like they try not to. And when they talk about it, they come with more so a bearish mindset for the
And
most.
they wait till it get to the all time high. And you notice every time the media talks about it is when it's at its peak and then it crashes right after that.
Yep.
That's what they do.
Yep. But now you're starting to see them infiltrated into the mainstream. Like I texted you, how I talked about on the previous episode with Travis Scott, how I was saying, they're just going to have an influencer such as Travis. It's, instead of Travis, is Meg the Stallion. She just did this huge partnership with Cash App where they gave out over $1 million of Bitcoin. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, like, well, this is exactly what I was just talking about. Like, all it takes is for them to have somebody of a social status, one of these celebrities that can just have these people just lock into what they're talking about, not understanding what the market is or anything, and just starting to buy into this shit. And mass adoption is right around the corner. 2021 is going to be a fucking massive year for cryptocurrency. And for people that are worried about taxes and stuff, yeah, they're still finding ways to regulate. They still are even, I think they're still going back and forth with if they want to even consider Bitcoin or even want to consider cryptocurrency a digital asset class or not. Um, but if you're not taking gains from your profits, you don't have to pay taxes on that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's smart to take gains because
Yeah.
if you don't, I mean, you're gonna lose out more than you gain if over time if you don't take your gains from when the prices shoot up. So that's the tricky part about it. But yeah, man, I'll be looking at YouTubers. These niggas got hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in this shit, just trading every day, looking at got several Bitcoin. And you gotta understand that there's only a finite number of Bitcoin left, like 2 million
Mm-hmm.
approximately left in the world.
It's
So
gonna keep going up.
people don't understand that this shit is going to, when it takes off, it's going to fucking take off, and the scarcity is just going to explode. So if you're not doing it now, you need to start looking into cryptocurrency because fuck a bank account, savings account. You can have your fucking retirement, all that shit within this shit. Yes, there's a lot of volatility, but that's why there's stable coins where you can put money into it that can act as like a savings account in crypto, and you can gain APY percentage for just holding that each year. And you can mine, like I was talking about, you can mine different coins and shit. And I'm telling you, man, like people just I just think about the possibilities, man, because I've seen it how my portfolio has tripled, quadrupled
Mm-hmm.
this year, and I didn't even put as much into it really like I could have when I did do it, at the beginning of the year. And now I'm understanding. I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it is. Like you got to. There's a lot of volatility with it, But you got to understand that this is the future. I don't There's fucking Bitcoin ATMs. There's
Yup.
Bitcoin ATMs in places. I'm going to get a haircut like last week. I see that fucking sign, electric sign, Bitcoin ATM is here. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why the fuck do they got a big? I'm like, okay. I get it now. All right. So they really about to infiltrate this shit into society, just smooth. It's just gonna be a transition to like when they started putting chips on everybody's debit cards. So
When the banks are done as we know it. Because right now, like me personally, Cash App is my shit. Like Cash App, yeah, the Cash App is better than any bank account that you can have because you can get instant. Like I can send you $1,000 right now, and you can go spend that shit right now if you
yeah,
got a debit card. You can buy Bitcoin on there. Very minimal fees. I buy a lot of Bitcoin and shit on there. The way it's set up, that is the future. It gets all the bullshit out of it. It gets all the clutter and the red tape out here that banks and bank accounts will give you. So what you're going to see is a lot of banks are going to collapse because if they don't get with the cryptocurrency space. And back to what you were saying, regulations. Here's the thing: this cryptocurrency shit is this is what you cryptocurrency is the equivalent. This is our internet, basically. This is our generation's internet. So, but the key is this is going to liberate us, I believe. Because I think what they're starting to realize is you can't necessarily you can regulate, but I think that the limit that they're going to have is that for them to regulate this, like it's hard for them to regulate cryptocurrency because cryptocurrency was created for you to be hitting. These protocols were created for you to be for it to be decentralized. The concept of Bitcoin is decentralization from the rip. Like they can't do nothing with that. Like they can't really regulate that. They can't necessarily make it a security because I mean the technology is really good. That's why they haven't made it a security and a lot of money laundering. That's what it's used for, is money laundering through the government. The government use Bitcoin. That's what they've been doing. That's why it's so fucking high. And that's why I feel like it may get up to $1 million a coin because as that supply goes down, that value is going to go up. Because I don't think Bitcoin is deflationary. That's
and
all it is.
and that's why it's important. Like, you know, it's important to look into Bitcoin and to accumulate. Slowly but surely accumulate over time, which is what I'm going to do moving forward. I got a little bit in Bitcoin right now, but I got more in altcoins. But also looking to see altcoins excite me more than Bitcoin because you don't understand. I mean, there's so many potential use cases for these different projects that there are out there. When you want to talk about DeFi, um, DeFi coins, DeFi D apps, decentralized apps. In the future, decentralized gaming.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that can go with these altcoins, and it's like, damn, it's like everybody's trying to figure out what is going to be the altcoin that's going to take off. A lot of people think XRP is going to be a major player, which I still believe in XRP as well. But there's many other coins out there, which is it's exciting in my opinion, and I don't think you can go into this. I don't think you're gonna lose going into this unless you're just putting it into some coin that isn't you don't get news about regularly. You
Mm-hmm.
just see that super cheap. Just because a coin is super cheap doesn't mean there's going to be any use case for it. Um,
They have
but
to be doing deals and shit, dude.
yeah, you
Like,
gotta be looking into what the types of deals are being made with those coins or companies that's hosting that have those coins. And Ethereum is definitely going to be huge because a lot of coins tokens rather use ERC, which is Ethereum. They are off of the Ethereum. I don't want to say blockchain, but I think that's the right word. But yeah, man, it's exciting to see. I mean, if you look at it, it's essentially gambling, but at the same time, it's like, would you rather your entire life, every day of the week, play a pick five or pick three, or a couple times a week, play the Mega Millions, and then eventually you might hit if you play the same numbers because the same numbers. at some point in time are going to hit over time eventually. I mean, that's what I believe because I seen somewhere where a guy had won huge over hundreds of millions. He said he played like the same numbers for like 25 years straight, and he
Mm.
finally won. You know, you could do that if you want, but I'm saying this right here, I think the long term impact is more valuable than wasting thousands of dollars playing the lottery and shit and going playing like online poker and shit like that, like going to casinos. I think this is more valuable to put money into because you can gain
Hmm.
again with the APY, like you can gain interest on these coins, shit, 300+% on coins and shit. Like now you can do it now. Like fuck a savings account where you get paid like 0.0025% a fucking year. You know, like this is the stable coin is the equivalent of a dollar and it's never going to lose. Well, there is possibility that it could lose value, but more so it's going to stay that consistent. So if you want something that's not going up and down, you put money into that instead of a savings account because you're going to earn a lot more interest with these stable coin than you are with your savings account.
Yep. Yep. That's my plan. Once at Moon, my a little bit of my exit strategy. It's going to Moon, and then I'm never, I'm going to take out just enough to where I can get me a house, a car, and live for like a year. And each year I'm just going to get that set amount out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that amount and I'm going to put it into the accounts where I can get some percentage gains on it through a stable coin.
Yeah.
And I want to have it. Hopefully it's enough high enough amount where I can just put that into that and I can just look at it like a dividend or something like that, and I can just live off of the percentage of that. That's what I really want to do. Um, but back to what you were saying, I think personally Ethereum is going to be, and I think this is what's going to really make this mainstream is not just the Bitcoin, but Ethereum is going to shoot up to whatever price Bitcoin is because Ethereum at this point is the cryptocurrency space because of DeFi and because of the ERC20 tokens, because of those protocols. All that shit is run through Ethereum.
Yeah,
All
DeFi.
of it's run.
Yeah, DeFi is decentralized finance, by the way.
Yep. And they can't. There's nothing that they can't do any. They can't regulate that. For them to regulate DeFi they would basically have to market as a security, and they already haven't made Ethereum and Bitcoin already are not securities. They're already passed that these aren't securities because it's going to be currency. So this is why they can't just regulate this shit because in a way, if they do the wrong regulations, it's going to destroy the space. So that's the beauty of crypto, especially decentralized finance. No politics is involved with this shit. What's going on is we're going into a new realm, especially with money. What this is, in my opinion, what we're seeing and what cryptocurrency is the first time that we have ever seen competition in money. First time we've ever, because we always had a reserve currency. Everybody always followed the dollar. Everybody or gold or silver. What the cryptocurrency is going to do is it's going to make what you call it, it's going to make competition in the financial space. And how I can prove that is you got shit like Coinbase Earn, Coin Market Cap Earn, where you can they're literally giving you free money to take quizzes, and they're basically giving you the fucking answers.
Yep, and
You know what I mean?
you can take the quizzes as many times as you want too
Yeah.
until you get
Keep
it
taking.
right. So yeah,
Yeah. And so, and what do they say? Competition for the people is good. It's good for the people. Competition in anything it always benefits the people. This is why government always wanted to have control over shit. But now, anywhere you have competition is always. You can even look at sports. When you have competition amongst your sports team, it's always good entertainment. So what we're seeing is competition in the money system. So what is going to happen is they're basically going to they're giving away money. They've been doing it all. I done made hundreds, probably thousands of dollars off of just fucking quizzes and staking, just doing that shit. Like, because they got to get this shit out. I'm like, they got to give this shit
yeah,
out to expose people to the space and shit. And it's
yeah.
competition.
Again with the farming, man. Like I'm seeing dudes making this black. See, I love following like black YouTubers that's in this shit. Like this one black YouTuber I watch, I think it's Experience Crypto 24/7. I think that's his YouTube name. He's or Experience Crypto Trading 24/7. He got a long YouTube name. He's talking about farming. All he talks about is staking, like Tron coin. He talks about how he's making upwards of $700-800 a day just doing this shit. And he was showing his balances and shit of how he does it. And he's like, this is my passive income. I do this every day. Like that's what I'm trying to get to the point of making that much a day, to so I can be doing that instead of like somebody that's day trading. I'm going to be doing this, you know. I look at there's another black YouTuber. He was saying like 7 years ago, this dude, he literally said, "Look, I'm telling you guys now that Bitcoin, if you just invest $1 into it now, you're going to be well off in the future." He said that 7 years ago, and
That
he,
video, I wanted to cut you off because that video popped up on my YouTube algorithm, but I didn't
yeah,
click on it. And I was like, bro, that shit said 7 years ago.
yeah,
I didn't look at it though.
he's big. Yeah, he's one of the bigger names in crypto on YouTube, crypto YouTube right now. So yeah, I mean, he was on it early. He was on it, 2013, telling people. That's why I want to do a video like that. Like I want to see, for me, it's got to be for something like XRP or something like that. If it hit like $5, if it hit like $10, some because I think once XRP breaks its all-time high, the all bets are off because there's so many people that believe in it, and then there's other people that think, nah, it's nothing special with it. But I think there is something special with it. Um, if that shit hits $10, I'm gonna make a video just like that dude made and tell people to invest in that shit. I mean, I already got my sister into it, my cousin into it. I gave him some of my XRP, a little bit of my XRP, and but also don't it's a good thing what Coinbase is doing with Coinbase Earn, and Coinbase is about to go public too. Um, but it's also important to have other wallets, non-custodial wallets, have a hardware, such as a ledger, because Coinbase crashes a lot.
Especially around all-time highs.
I use Binance, which we just got in our state. I use Binance as well.
My advanced verification keep fucking up on my Binance, so I was
Yeah,
just like,
yeah, it takes a minute to get verified on it, but
I tried like 4 or 5 different bills, and they keep telling me the same thing, like they can't verify. So I'm like, I'm not dealing with that shit. But that's the best one though.
yeah.
I'm missing out.
I'm on Binance. Kraken is another one.
Hmm.
Gemini. I haven't used Gemini, but that's another one. But yeah, always don't. I got a lot on exchanges right now, but also I think it's important to have a non-custodial wallet. I got like two non-custodial wallets. Got like a little bit of Tron on one, or a little bit of TRX rather. Um, and I got the ledger. So if everything goes to shit, you know what I mean? Like I always have the ledger to fall back on. Always got this right here to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? To put to have my shit on me just in case the grid goes off. You feel
Wrap
me?
it in full. Wrap it in full right now. When we get off, wrap that motherfucking full in full. That's a homemade Faraday chamber, and what it does is it blocks electromagnetic signals and shit. So say we do get hit with a CME or something like that. If you don't have it wrapped in some aluminum or something, it's gonna brick it. It's gonna
Mhm.
brick it. It's gonna brick it.
Okay.
That's what I did research on. Like so, we do have a CME. It'll just brick. It's gonna brick a lot of our technology. But I got my goddamn ledger wrapped in full. I got that bitch wrapped in full like a motherfucker. I got the thing wrapped in the full in the box. So just in case. Um,
Mhm.
you're right. You're right though, man. It's about
I
them
mean,
hardware wallets.
and again, like I watch several crypto YouTubers, man. I just be bouncing from video to video to video to video, just getting different perspectives on stuff. Um, but it's like even with like one of them that I watch, I think it's Dusty Crypto or something like that. He was saying like, it's not. I don't think it'll ever be a bad time to truly get into crypto because crypto is something that is going to be here to stay. Like this is the new frontier, in terms of finance. So I mean, yeah, we're technically early adopters to this shit still. We were thinking like 2017 when there was the huge bubble, the huge bull run then, like damn, it might be too late. Nah, bro, this shit is just beginning. Like I'm putting I
Mm-hmm.
put my sister onto it, my cousin tried to tell other people about it because it's still a young market, early adopter. Just because Bitcoin has hit its all-time high, doesn't mean there's not going to be other ones that are going to hit their all-time high in the coming future. because this shit is about to take off, man. Like this upcoming year is gonna be huge for crypto.
I think Bitcoin will hit 50K by the middle of January, and I think XRP will hit at least $1 by the end of this month. At least $1 by the end of this. It's gonna be at least $1 by the end of this month. I ain't worried about none of like you know what I mean. Like we already in there. How do you? We got our shit. Like that's why you don't really hear me even really speaking on it that much anymore because that's what I've been doing all year. Like I'm just kind of just I'm waiting for other people to get in this shit so I can get the fuck out so I can get rich. That's how I'm looking at it. Like shit. I'm waiting for it to go mainstream, and it's going mainstream right now. It's going mainstream. So I think by the middle of January, by the end of January, it's gonna be at least 50K Bitcoin. And then XRP, like all that shit is gonna just shoot out the goddamn moon, dude. It's gonna be on a rocket, and and it's gonna be around. They may, I think they're gonna have to regulate it, but I think this is just a reset. The regulations may start initially, but the reason why they haven't regulated is because they understand that they can't necessarily regulate the cryptocurrency without destroying the space completely. That's how I look at it. That's why I think it's taking so long. So in a sense, they will have to put guardrails. They're gonna have to do something because what's gonna happen overnight? Just gonna have millennials that's gonna be billionaires, millionaires, like, and we're the new elite. We're the
Yeah,
new elite. That's all it is. We're the new elite. I said this at work last night. I said it's gonna go from people that own like now people who own the most oil, people who own the most land, um, people who own the most stocks. Though that's the 1% right now. But
yeah,
what we're about to go into, the new 1%, because of this wealth transfer, is the ones who have the most gold and metals, because that's going to be deflationary. And it's going to be the ones that have the most digital assets, land, and seeds. That's it. This is just a cultivation of a new 1%. And the cryptocurrency space is where a lot of these new billionaires and trillionaires are gonna be in because of this shit. It's gonna be trillionaires come out of this space.
yeah, man. Um, it is. I mean, it's really just the beginning, man. It feels great to be somebody that is like I like to be an early adopter, to this shit. Like, cause you still talk to certain people about it, and they're still foreign. It's still foreign to them unless you say Bitcoin. Then they like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, man, like this shit is just the market follows Bitcoin. So everything when Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up. I mean, shit, Litecoin hit over $100 for the first time in a while, I think. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so it's like, bro, like it's exciting, man. It's exciting times for sure.
It's easy money right now for right now. It may can crash again. I don't think so this time. I think it might correct where it might go. It's at 23K. It might drop back down to 18 or 17, but then it's gonna shoot right back up. That's just how markets work. But I think you got to get into space. You got to get into space right now because I'm reading different books. Another book that I'm reading, The Sovereign Individual, is just talking about how, and they wrote this book in 1997, and I gotta grab this book too so y'all can see this shit. They wrote this book in 1997, and they talk about cryptocurrency. So this is how I knew this is the space I need to be in because that cryptocurrency is going to be the internet 3.0. It's going to be the internet 3.0, basically. And I was told to read this book through somebody I was talking with through in the comments. He was like, read The Sovereign Individual. It just discusses everything that's going on now. And I'm through chapter about 100 pages in it. And it is talking basically about how what we're seeing is the fall of politics and government is the same as the fall of the church during the last revolution, the industrial revolution, basically, or one before the last. And what we're seeing is this is like they call it the fourth industrial revolution. This is bigger than that. This is the first of something. This is like the first technological revolution. You can't even put it as an industrial revolution because even industry is not going to look the same. Like, dude, it's on another level now. But I'm gonna grab that right quick too, so I can show y'all that. All right. I may not be able to find it because I thought it was on the back of the book. I think it was in one of the chapters I read. But for the next podcast, I'll bring this up.
All
And
right.
this is the book right here, The Sovereign Individual. This is one of the best books. I'm only 100 pages in, and this is one of the best books I have ever read. And honestly, this right here is this is telling you everything that's going on right now. This is telling you everything. I haven't even gotten all the way through it. I'm only on chapter 4 at page like 120 or something. And like it's telling you everything that's going on now. Everything. Everything. And they wrote that back in 1997 because you got to think in 97 they had the year 2000 come up and Y2K and they got all this Nassar talking about 2000 was supposed to be or 2001 was supposed to be that first year where we had that unveiling and the new millennium and stuff like that. Like there's supposed to
Yeah.
be big shit pop up, which it did. Looking back, it did, but not quite how we thought. But yeah, they talk about crypto. They've been talking about crypto, and in fact, I want to bring this up too. The creator of XRP. I was on Twitter months ago, and I probably got it somewhere in my screenshots. I got to start getting my shit right where I can present it. Um, the creator of XRP, David Schwartz. If you go check his patents for the technology that he has for the XRP technology, or not XRP blockchain technology, he has patents from the 1980s. 1980s.
Wow.
1980s, dude. So
Damn.
like they've been working on this. I think the cryptocurrency concept is what the Atlanteans used, the Egyptians, because they wasn't going around trading blocks of gold and shit. They were going around when they did commerce and shit, it was lightning quick. But I think it was backed by gold and land and seeds. But they had something, an intermediary where they can work with on a day-to-day basis. They wasn't going around trading gold and shit, but they had a complex system. And I think what the cryptocurrency is a similar system to what the Atlanteans and what these advanced civilizations have. You have to have something where you like the shit that we have now. An advanced society has to have these type of things where shit can just move smooth, where you ain't got to sit there and wait for somebody to write a check type shit. You just go up, boom, go about because that's what technology does. It speeds shit up. So I think the unveiling of cryptocurrency, when we look back, is going to be one of those like the internet, basically.
And it's just going to be like also not just with the currency, but just like the infrastructure, such as like the blockchains, is just going to be the foundation of uh, things that we can use in the world. Like in terms of just look at the past election, like how much easier it would have been if people were just able to just vote using something on digital like a blockchain and it just be anonymous and you ain't gotta worry about nobody caring, you ain't gotta worry about no tampered votes, it's just anonymous and that's truly you'll truly find out, the results that way and just other things and throughout the throughout the country, or the world rather. But I mean there's already like, how you were saying with the Akon city. I seen a clip with Nipsey when he was talking about Amsterdam. He said he was in Amsterdam because they already are like a crypto friendly
Yeah.
city, and
Mm-hmm.
he was talking about investing in crypto a couple of years ago, and he was like, yeah, I mean we out here because I mean they already have it. Like this is how it's going to be everywhere. It's already crypto friendly out here. You can just pay for stuff with crypto. There was isn't there? I know there's some places. I think there's some certain places here in the states that you can pay for stuff with crypto. Like,
Yeah, like I think Starbucks.
okay,
I think you
Starbucks.
can.
Okay, Starbucks.
Yeah, they started that back in like 2016, and so I think you can get coffee. Like I think you can get certain things with Bitcoin like, already, because remember I was saying earlier they already deemed Bitcoin and Ethereum non-securities. They're not securities, so that's why you don't hear them necessarily talk about it. They can always change some shit up, but Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't securities, which is currency. They already recognize both of those as currencies. If people didn't know that,
Just,
um,
just
they're
wait.
waiting on the altcoins.
Yeah, just wait till they start pushing that shit. Like being able to buy a fucking McDonald's meal with Bitcoin, or fucking Chick-fil-A, which would be huge. Like
Mm-hmm.
just places like that. Walmart, just going in, being able to use cryptocurrency to use to buy stuff in Walmart. Stuff like that. Man, it's just mass adoption is right around the corner.
And it has to happen because you got to think about it like this goes back to the baby. But we was born at a perfect time because believe it or not, we are going to be the future baby boomers as well for generations below us later on when we get older. But the concept of the baby boomer happens every few generations. It's not something that we just deal with. It's just how it happens every. We're going to be baby boomers for generations later on. But our generation, us and Gen Z, like specifically us as millennials, we're becoming the new adult. Like once we're about to be 30, so they basically got to create a society that caters to us as millennials. They got to create a society that caters us, and they know technology, they know this cryptocurrency. They have to. It's the times that we're in. I wanted to say this too. I saw this during the election. You could actually follow the election looking at the Ethereum and EOS blockchain. I want to pull this article up because I saw this around the election and I'm like, what the? This is when I thought the shit was going to really go up back in November. And this is on, I think, Cointelegraph, a site that I think I go for a lot of crypto news. See if I can find it. Here it is. Here goes investing.com. Let me see. Let me share my screen. It wasn't on a coin. I couldn't find the original site. It's a lot of censorship going on, but I could find this is investing.com. This is where I go. You can go here for a lot of true investing definitions and stuff like that. But it says November 5th, 2020, 8:20 a.m. AP News publishes U.S. presidential election results on blockchain. They didn't vote via the blockchain, but they used the blockchain to view the results, which I
Yeah,
think this is still a big deal. This is a subtle way of trying to expose it to us.
yeah,
Um,
EOS is another one of those altcoins that's on the rise, and that's something. It's one of the few altcoins people are talking about next year, such as Theta, Cardano. There's several I could talk about, but yeah, we'll be here for a while if I did.
EOS and Tezos is like the China version of like Ethereum, but it's not. Like it's still its own thing. So like EOS and this is another thing about these cryptocurrencies also that we got to understand. Is the fact, yeah, Cointelegraph is where they got it from. That's where I originally saw it. But we got to understand that this is going to cause competition amongst countries. I think healthy competition. So you're going to have, like, I think Cardano is based in like Norway or some shit. Like, and I really like Cardano. V Chain is like it's in China somewhere. I really like V Chain. EOS is in like China or Japan. Ethereum is here. XRP is here.
Yeah, and
Bitcoin is everywhere.
they're serving such those markets as well. Like I think Chainlink was serving like what was it, South Asia or Asia, something. They did a huge deal with somebody recently, and Chainlink is it's the foundation of
Yep.
all crypto.
Chainlink is like I said it before. I feel like Chainlink is going to be in the top three. I thought, but I think it's going to be in the top 10 because I think the top three is going to. I think the top four, which is top five, which is going to only really matter, is going to be Ethereum, and this is in order too. Ethereum, XRP, Ethereum, XLM, XRP, Bitcoin, VeChain. That's how I think. That's how I think. The top five may play out a bit. Like, and there may be some interchanging between that. But I think the top it's going to really. I think it's going to be a lot of projects that's going to crash. But I think that goes back
Yeah,
to what you were saying.
yeah, there's plenty of what they call shit coins out there.
Yep.
There's thousands of cryptocurrencies. I mean, they got one even for Simpsons where they had the episode about crypto called the Frink coin. It's
Mm-hmm.
out there. You can get a bunch of it for nothing. Pretty much. There's like obviously like shit like that. Like yeah, there's gonna be coins that are worthless, like just to invest in. You got to do your own research on the companies that they're doing business with. So.
They got to be doing deals. They got to be doing legit deals with governments and like with companies that aren't going to just crash. Like that's how you know it's a legit crypto, in my opinion. And even then, it can still crash. You got to be aware of that. But I think at this point, this ain't 2017 because you remember we talked about this in 2016 actually. Remember when it first popped off initially, we were making our Coinbases and shit, fucking with the Coinbase, but we kind of seen then that there wasn't no use case for it.
Yeah.
We kind of knew it was going to crash. Like we was like this it didn't seem right to me. I'm like, why is Bitcoin going up when we got the dollar? But now we can see with the virus what's going on. Like the dollar is actually when oil crashed, the dollar it's been done actually. But that was the signal. That's why the crypto started to take off because the dollar ain't necessarily coming back. Like that physical dollar ain't coming back no more. It's going to be a digital dollar connected with the
Yeah,
cryptocurrency.
USDC. Yeah.
Yeah, USDC coin, which this is why I think XLM is going to be bigger than XRP, but they're going to still both be big, is because XLM just did a deal with USDC where they're going to rail USDC on the Stellar Lumens platform, and that right there that confirmed to me that the XLM may be the and they people been saying it, it's the silver of the gold of cryptocurrency,
Yeah,
and that's
I see a lot of people they try to say it's like the brother of XRP because a lot of their price actions correlate with one another,
yeah,
you know, with
and the creator XLM.
created XRP too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Jared McCaleb. But I don't I see I'm suspicious with Jared McCaleb because he also created the exchange that they call Mount Gox. And if you did the research on Mount Gox, this is a big exchange where they did a big exit scam. And it's one of the biggest ones. And he created that. And I
Mhm.
thought that was odd. So I'm like, man, he's a scammer. He kind of and he fell out with the XRP people, whatever, and made his own shit XLM. That's what they say. What I think it is, they're all connected, and they knew that XRP, in a sense, is not going to replace Bitcoin, but it's going to be a store of value like Bitcoin. It's going to be a part of the reserve currency basket or whatever. But XLM is what we're going to be using to buy the coffee. Is what we're going to be using. That's what we're going to be using with the USDC to basically do our day-to-day transactions. Is XLM. So that's why you hear a lot of people say XRP won't go over $1 because it's going to be a stable coin. Hell, hit that mother. I wanted to hit $1. Shit, I'm gonna
I mean,
get paid either motherfucking way. Shit,
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
shit, crazy. What it was something about XLM. Fuck, it was something about XLM. It was an article or something that I wanted to bring up. I wanted to bring up that USDC article. This came out, and this is real news to me. This is bigger than any virus going on. This is a big deal for me, dude. Like this is what we really need to be. This is this shit that really need to be having on the news. This is the big deal. But see, they don't have it on the news now because you can't. Because if you knew this was like mainstream, it's either going to be too late or it's all you're going to get paid, and I don't want you to get paid. This is what I was speaking on right here. This came out in October, dude. October, man. And they talking about they talking about mask and shit. I'm not worried about no fucking mask. Stellar Luma is now and this is on the currency and analytics. I've never used this site, but I know I got it originally from Cointelegraph, the site that I usually use. Same article, but Stellar Lumens XLM now an official chain for USDC. Fiat, the crypto bridge continues. And if you know anything about XRP and XLM, the big thing about that, what people are talking about is that these will be used to basically as for banks. XRP, they say, will be used for banks to transact money between
Yeah,
banks.
yeah, that's why people. Yeah, I've been seeing people say it's a bank coin and whatnot. So
So I'll add to that. People say XRP will be a stable coin. I agree, but it's going to be a stable coin at like 10,000. It's going to be a high price stable coin, which is a damn good thing because if you're in that shit now, it's basically going to guarantee that you're going to be rich for a long ass time
oh yeah,
because
oh
we're
yeah.
going to yeah. So
But you gotta remember too, with these coins, it's like it's important to be diversified with it as well and not just hold everything in one or two coins.
yeah,
You
I agree.
I don't think you'll ever go wrong with having some money in Bitcoin because I feel like Bitcoin is always going to have a massive presence, you know.
Yeah,
But in terms of these altcoins, I think it's best to diversify with those.
I
So
think Bitcoin is actually the goal. I think
yeah.
Bitcoin for right now is actually the goal. And that's why
Because
it's going to
they're
be
not gonna what they can never really make any more. It's not even
no.
I don't think it's possible, from what I've seen or looked at.
So people keep buying it. It's going to keep going up. It's deflationary because it's a finite supply. Um, And I truly think that shit may go up to a million a coin probably. Like it's at least 100,000, at least 100,000. And it's like the gold of the cryptocurrency space. I think some say it's XRP, XLM as a gold or silver. No, I think the instant settlement actually hurts them when it comes to being a store of value because you can't reverse crypto transactions right now. So I think with it being with Bitcoin having that 15-minute window, with it being slower than other cryptocurrencies, that's actually a good thing because it may get to where you don't have to stress so much. What's 15 minutes versus 5 seconds? Well, right now we're waiting 3 to 5 fucking days, 2 weeks to get our checks. Think about it. You know what I mean? Like, I think 15 minutes is a perfect time for you to be like, oh, if you sit the train, oh, I didn't mean to do that. You can still go in there. That adds value to Bitcoin, I think. Whereas I can see where like with XRP, it instantly settles. Well, shit, you might fuck around and send the money to the wrong. You're not getting that money back. But for banks, like on a larger scale, that's where the instant settlement is going to help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where the instant settlement will help for even day-to-day transactions. That's where I think instant settlement will help if it's something that within that mechanism that allow us to look at our transactions. And that's why I think all XRP, XLM, and Bitcoin is integrated. But you're right though. I just started basically dollar cost averaging Bitcoin, and I think personally, I think I'm gonna get out a loan, wait for it to crash again, and buy it again, and just pay my loan out. That's what I think I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
it's
mean,
risky.
and
It's
there's
risky.
I mean, you can do that already through like there's crypto services where you can just take out loans and shit to put into
Yep.
crypto. So
Yep.
yeah.
Because I'm like I gotta build my credit and all that. So I'm like, well, shit. I think I'm gonna really do my because that could be risky, dude. You're not. They don't recommend doing that. But at this point, if you've been in this space, you understand that this space like
I mean,
it's some
you've been at
fundamentals.
it this entire year, and you've seen how your portfolios went up, and how I'm assuming you're in the green right now. So you
Oh
see
yeah,
that this shit is the real deal. It's not no bullshit, to it.
it's just it gets to the point where you don't even want to really like do. I don't even fuck with it because I don't want to deal with the taxes. Like
Yeah,
I'm scared. I'm
that's how
scared of
like
the taxes.
I recently took out some gains recently. I didn't even want to do it, but at first I was like, I need this money because it's just to the point. It's like I got a lot of money in it more than I'm trying to keep into my actual bank account. You know,
Yeah,
so
it
then
gets
that,
like that.
so then that's like, damn, I don't want to take out too much because you get to that certain threshold, you got to pay it back in taxes.
Yep.
So, so yeah, that's something to think about.
Yes, you got to keep your eyes on. But I think at the end of the day, what's going to come out of this is the taxes system. They said before the IRS has been dissolved and shit. I think that's true, and I think cryptocurrency is going to be our blessing because cryptocurrency is going to make it more difficult for them to tax us. They're going to be able to fee us to death. They already do that. It's all kinds of fucking fees with this shit. That's not going to really go anywhere. But I think it's going to be hard for taxes. It's going to be hard for them to tax us. It's going to be hard for them to KYC like ledgers. That's one of the alerts I woke up to was they were talking about a proposal to where they would KYC, which is know your customer, where that's the verification that you got. You got to give them your ID and all that shit. They want to add that to ledgers, but no, dude, that can't work. For them to pass that type of legislation, what's the difference between it won't be no difference, dude. Like it won't be no difference between this financial system and the old financial system.
Yeah, there's no decentralization if they do that.
Exactly. So that's why cryptocurrency is taking off because of the decentralization, because of the safety. That's why it's
I
taking off
mean, we
during the
don't even,
pandemic.
then again, it's like we don't even need that because we got our destination tags that you put when you transfer crypto. That's like a customer ID. So you make
Hmm.
sure that you sent, it's secure, so, you know,
But this goes back to earlier what I was saying. What they're doing, the government is setting its grave though, because I still think they're going to attempt to do shit like this. But we're going to have enough of this shit, dude. Because the only reason why because you just explain a destination tag. That's all you need.
yeah.
Destination tag. But so what they're trying to tell us is they basically want to tax us because they know that this cryptocurrency space is about to explode, and they're trying to get their piece of the pop. They want to fee us and tax us. That's what they want to do. But what's going to end up happening is that at some point they're not hiding this stuff. At some point, it's going to be a revolution. And that even goes back to the conjunction in the astrology. The last time that this astrological snapshot from a large scale, the last time we had this astrological snapshot was around the Civil War in the
1800.
1800s, around the Carrington event. So I think they're gonna do some shit to where we're just gonna it's gonna have to be a revolution, like not a civil war, not a civil war race type shit. It's gonna be the people versus the government. The people, because this is why I think they started doing the Operation Warp Speed, and yeah, and it's gonna be soon too. Um, but last thing I wanted to add was this: when you were talking about the voting, a
Yeah.
executive order that I had found that Trump actually. I'm gonna go to the actual White House, the official website. I thought this was. I mean, I don't know. It's some odd shit going on, man. It's something that we got to do more research, or I got to do more research, or something, man. It's something that's not quite right about a lot of this shit that's going on. And I found this executive order that was created in 2018, September 2018, that Trump passed. I had no clue about this. I don't remember this. He had passed Executive Order 13848 that basically talks about um, action that needed to be put in place if it was any tampering or foreign bad actors that were basically tampering with elections. And you know what? We have to. It's a long ass article, but it's a certain points that I wanted to want us to look at that I thought was crazy, dude. Executive Order 138, and at this point, I mean, these executive orders. I mean, a lot of them I don't understand a lot of them because it's like a lot of the shit he'll put the executive order in, but we're not. It's not followed, basically.
Yeah.
Um, I want to go to the actual White House website. I found the article, but I want to go to the official website, the White House. Let's see. Let's share the screen. And I had another alert as well that I woke up to that said the Pentagon. It was like the Pentagon denies any briefings to Biden or some shit. Like, but I thought that was weird because the Pentagon is like its own thing. Like, you know, we haven't heard about the Pentagon speaking on any of this shit.
Nah. I think I mean, I do think Biden, with him being in office, I see it as a positive to the crypto world because Biden is he's so for giving to people. Like he's already, talking about giving back with student loan debt and talking about health care and stuff like that. So I feel like he would be open to exploring more opportunities with cryptocurrency in the economy.
I'll say this. I think regardless of the president, regardless of Trump's opponent, they were gonna like this. The stuff that's going on, they have to do like certain shit they're gonna have to do. Trump, anybody, whoever's in office. This is what I want because I don't give a fuck if it's. I want me to be in the motherfucking office. I don't care about any of them. But like whoever's going to be in office, they got to do the shit that they're doing. You know what I mean? They got to give it. They got to do because it's all related with the crash of the economy that's already happened. So it's not even that he wants to do it; he has to do it. But I think that what I'm realizing with Trump, though, I don't know, man. That's what I'm trying to say, man. It's because it's bullshit on both sides.
Yeah.
It's like games on both sides, man. It's games on both sides because the gold shot up. Gold has been doing well. When Trump was in office, crypto has still been doing well when he was in office, but it's then took another step up now that they know that Biden. Now that we know that Biden is the president elect, that's going. I still think he'll be our president. What they're doing now is basically I thought Trump would still be the president, but really what I think is going on is just theater, and it's just another. They're just distracting us right now. They're just basically distracting us on a whole nother level because of shit that's really going on with the astrology, with the financial system, and I think all it is really a distraction because we already know every election has some type of fraud with it since the 1800s, since this country was created on both sides. Fraud isn't something that just started. There's been different levels of fraud that's been going on forever. So everybody, even people that don't want to accept it, they know that yeah, fraud. He may have won through fraud, but Trump used fraud as well. Like all these presidents have, it's a part of winning. It's all about winning. That's what it is. All about becoming the president. So they're gonna do whatever they got to do to become the president. And so it's not even that fraud is necessarily the issue. It's the level of how it's been done and how long it's been happening. I don't want to put that on any specific candidate because it's always been happening. It's always been happening since the time since they've created this government. But I thought this was interesting because he put it out on September 12th, 2018. Um, but it seemed like it's like he put this shit out, and this is why I say it's nothing but games going on because this is literally speaking of what's going on. And I'm like, how did they know this 2 years ago? Executive order on imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in the United States election. Um, he's just talking about like basically algorithms, AI, shit like that. But it's a certain spot that I wanted to go. I'm gonna kind of scroll down slow so y'all can pause it and read it yourself. I want to go to my right here, section 1A. Now this is put out September 12th, 2018, election November 5th, usually in November. So this is what I thought was interesting. Section 1A, not later than, let's do this. Let's highlight the whole thing. Oh, that might make it harder to read. Not later than 45 days after the conclusion of a United States election, the Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the heads of any other appropriate executive departments and agencies, shall conduct an assessment of any information indicating that a foreign government or any person acting as an agent of or on behalf of a foreign government has acted with the intent or purpose of interfering in that election. The assert y'all can read it. I'm just gonna scroll down slowly. I kind of skimmed through it before because he basically talks about them doing the investigation. I think he talks about what will be done. Uh, yeah, within 45 days of receiving an assessment. Let's see, let me keep scrolling. It just basically talks about an investigation. Is what I'm seeing, but I thought it was weird that they come out with this in 2018, not 20, not 2016, 2017, last year. They come out in 2018 when we know ain't nobody paying this shit no attention. Well, no, I don't even remember this shit.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be a way for it could have just been a way for him to cover his tracks from the 2016 election because he was being investigated and he was impeached because of it.
Oh, this is right here. This is what this is. It was 2A. All right, now this is important. Right here, 2A, he said, all property and interests in property that are in the United States that hereafter come within the United States or that are all the jargon within the possession or control of any United States person or the following persons are blocked and may not be transferred, paid, exported, withdrawn, or otherwise default or dealt. And any foreign person determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, yada yada yada. And basically, yeah, this is what it's talking about. They're basically going to seize all your shit. But that goes in what they were talking about with that Nassara as well, talking about them seizing everybody, seizing all these people's shit or whatever, yada yada yada. But I want to bring one more thing to it. It's a video that this guy sent that I work with, and I want to see. We gotta. I can't bring it up because of the copyright thing.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but I'm gonna Google search it so y'all can look it up. And this basically is a United. I forgot his position, but he has an international position where they basically said, and it's in a press conference. It looked legit. He basically it was this past week. He basically was speaking how they open up the FEMA camps because they do our week because they're banning all privateers. Do you think I could play it on my phone?
Uh, I don't know because like I know people have gotten copyright strikes from just like singing the words of songs,
Okay.
so I wouldn't risk it.
What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show what the video looked like.
All right.
It's 51 minutes long, and I'm just gonna this is it right here. This is let's see. It's called the Global Banning of All Profiteers. That's the title of the video. Global Banning of All Profiteers.
Okay.
And in this video, he basically puts out an order where they're basically about to start seizing because he's basically saying the people that control each country, from even from police to president to Congress. He specifically talking about the United States, but he's saying all across the world. He basically breaks down how everything is corrupt and how with them doing shit like mortgages. He starts with mortgages, student loans. Um, Basically he said the system that they've created is an invalid system. So what they've done is they're basically not starting to prosecute these individuals for this. And he explains how they open up the FEMA camps for these people that they're about to prosecute, governors, Senate members, police officers. What else did he add to it? He added that's why they opened up the FEMA camps. And he said that the reason why they'll be able to do this is because, and this is why I brought up that executive order. The reason why they'll be able to seize everything and jail these people is because they don't have a country of origin, and this is how they have been getting away with basically fucking with us. And I said this last night too. I was like, the true story is none of our leaders, I think, are from the United States. Hmm. I don't think a lot of our leaders are even from the United States. This is why you've seen us get sold out as a country the last 100, 200 years. And the one that was from the United States was Trump. But he's a Mason, he's a Jesuit. He's a Jesuit. But his energy, we can see his energy is totally different than any other president that we have besides like Ronald Reagan. Um, he had the energy on that level of like Reagan and Kennedy, and the guy would like to make shit, the energy, a certain fucking energy.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the difference because Obama, Bush, Clinton, all of the previous presidents that we've been used to they're not for the United States and probably not even from the United States. Something I was thinking about because they say the Bushes were connected with was it Hitler? Was the German or some shit? So the Bushes are originally German. Bush's grandpa is German or something. Trump's is too, but
Mm. I
oh
mean,
man,
it's yeah, it's plausible. With them saying Obama wasn't born in Hawaii, or it wasn't officially a state when he was born, or something like that. But he has ties to Kenya from his dad's side. But yeah, man, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. But I have to say, man, I'm at the point to where I'm about tired at this point because I know
yep,
we've had a long discussion
a lot of
tonight.
information. Yeah.
So I know you were saying that was the last thing you wanted to talk about, was
Mm-hmm.
there anything else in closing that you wanted to mention, or is that it?
Um, in close, I mean, we got a lot of information. I think we covered a lot of stuff that I've been thinking about the last couple of days or so. Um, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right. Well, for me, I guess in closing, just make sure to do your own research, in terms of like the crypto before just jumping into it. Because there are a lot of people out there that are looking to scam you. If you're not smart, if you don't do your own research on types of coins and when to do it, usually, in my opinion, from what I've seen, it's smarter to buy when the price is low and sell when it's high. If you're gonna trade, me personally, I'm a hodler. Like I'm more so holding for the long term. Um, unless unless I'm realizing some of my profit, you know. Other than that, I'm just holding. But just make sure to do your own research, as always. Um, and yeah, this concludes another episode. This is episode 58 of the Divine Council podcast. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, if there were some things you didn't like, let us know in the comments. You can make sure to like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube channel Divine Council Podcast. Make sure to follow us on SoundCloud. Divine Council Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Divine Council Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Podcast Divine. If you're listening via a streaming service such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you know, make give us a review. That helps with visibility with the podcast. So that will be greatly appreciated. And we're just going to continue to bring the content that we feel is most important at this time, and just have fun with that, and not make it too preachy, making sure that people we can bring it to you in a I guess more of a layman's terms for the most part. But then again, there will be times where we just say stuff in the I guess in a complicated way, because it is complicated and it's not sometimes it's you just can't you sometimes you just can't break things down to simplify it to the everyday common man or woman. You just have to go deeper with that. So yeah,
As Dolo the Pilot Man said, we just speaking. We in a soul group. Ain't we all the same? We speaking to people that I feel like we all on the same level. I don't look at myself like I'm above anybody else. You
yeah,
know, same as the audience. Like I feel like the audience, we are the audience basically.
for sure, for sure. Um, all right, so this quote, as always, I like to lead the listeners with the quote. This quote is from Marcus Aurelius, and he says the quote is, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And until next time, we're out. Peace.
Peace.